Welcome to episode 250 of the Overlook Hour. I am your host, Clark Little. Along with me, as always, is the man over in Oakland, California. He is not wearing a bandana. He's missing out. I'll explain shortly. It's Randy Michaelstadt.
Yeah, that's me. No bandana, but I have been thinking about getting a headband recently.
Provide further context.
Just because last time I went out running, I got a lot of sweat in my eyes, and you know how that like affects your vision. You can't really see because your sweat is salty. So I'm thinking about getting a headband.
Clark.
Randy, as a reminder, senior year of high school, 2004, in the summer, 2-a-days in Mississippi. It's hot. It's humid. I'm rolling around in the dirt, in the grime. I get a lacerated cornea. Some dirt literally cuts my eye. I can't see when I'm driving home. Do I immediately start to freak out and think that I'm losing my vision as a 17-year-old? Yes, I do. Go to the doctor, figure out that I cut my eyeball, and I had to wear an eye patch for many months. Then, after that, actually it wasn't many months, it was maybe 6 weeks. Then, they made me wear a headband. I wore one of those skull caps, so I looked like Ray Lewis, except not athletic at all, and it looks really lame when a doofy looking white guy has to wear a skull cap. But yeah, you gotta keep your sweat out of your eye, man. That's bad news.
Yeah, and you lost me at Ray Lewis.
That's correct. Ray Lewis is a murderer who
Okay.
happened to play football.
Like OJ,
OJ?
allegedly.
I beat you to it.
There's a lot going on.
Did he decapitate his victims, though?
Ray Lewis?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let me tell you something. He legally decapitated his opponents on Sundays because the man was an excellent middle linebacker.
What are you, his agent?
Ray Lewis is one of the greatest football players of all time. Went to the U. Randy, that means Miami. Also joining us is Russell Fisher and Oksana Valerian of Osage.
Boo! You gave us a dual. I can't though.
Okay, it's Russell John the Fisherman.
I've been thinking about that since you did it last week.
Look, can I fully explain how that happened? I think it was the day prior to the
Tourette's?
show, and I was downstairs, and I just thought of it, and I was so pleased with myself. I was so pleased with myself, where I was like, this works perfectly.
Yeah, weirdly.
Because the name of the song is John the Fisherman from Primus. You and I, we both like Primus.
Mm-hmm.
We both very much like that song. Your name is Russell John Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's really weird.
So we have to stick with it.
Yeah, so I got bummed when you tried to truncate my intro with Oksana.
I'm so sorry. But I'm still trying to find out a good one for Oksana. I may need a little bit more recon.
We got a week.
And also, I may have to dig into some more of that Russian pop she's been listening to.
Hell yeah. My Russian playlist on Spotify is great.
Share that with me, because I would listen to that. Some of that stuff, when you drove me back from the airport in the car, there's some good stuff in there. So I won't say anything now. I would just say that in the next portion of this show, we have an announcement to make about the future of this very program. So stay tuned. See, that's called a tease, baby.
Nice.
We're setting it up.
It was good, and then you talked about how good it was.
I know. That's typically what I do. That's what I do. I was going to make another thing.
I know you were.
That's
That's why we need a
can't commit
camera.
to it.
Your visual, just looking at your face, there's a lot going on.
I know.
Even though you try to hide every element of it under glasses and
I
a
treat
headband and-
podcasting like professional poker. Sunglasses and bandanas. We all are wearing bandanas. I like the bandana, boys. Can this be the new thing? Can this go into
No.
the new show that we talk about?
no.
Part of the tease.
We talk about it too much in the regular show this week.
Joining us on the show is our friend Kai. Kai has been on the show several times. Also, we learned he may have not been on the show for the last 3 or 4 years. It's been a while. But Kai runs a program at the Balboa Theater, and since the world is finally opening back up again, Kai's regularly scheduled program will be back at the Balboa, the Super Shangri-La Show. So we're going to spend a little bit of time with Kai later on to talk about the show coming back. It'd be good to catch back up with our buddy Kai. But before we do all that, this is a part of the announcement that we're going to give you here shortly in the next segment about the future of the show and how we're going to change up a few things. We'll go into further detail, but for the last time, this is the update from Oksana Valerian of Osachi about what's coming out this week.
I didn't even think to mention the
And this is why this is the last segment.
the Super Shangri-La Show, which is going to be next Wednesday at the Balboa. But aside from that, it is the slowest week for releases as far as I could tell. The only thing coming out on VOD is a movie we already talked about like 3 times. Censor.
Yeah, this is why we got to let you go. Like, supply and demand. We really have no supply here, and there never was a demand. So we just really can't keep you on the payroll.
That's right. Back to Odessa you go.
Was that it?
I mean, it's playing.
So you're
Alright.
you're mentioning a movie that we talk about ad nauseum in this show.
Mhm.
All right.
All right. You know what? Hopefully we'll find more work for you in the future. You get the videos out. You're banished. Go hang out with Creepy Clark.
For any questions,
All right.
queries, concerns, or comments, please direct those at podcast@overlooktheater.com. Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes, the other one. Find us, like, comment, tell a friend, tell me. None of my business what you do on your own personal time. The Overlook Hour is available on Facebook as The Overlook Hour. The Overlook Hour is available on Instagram as The Overlook Theater. The Overlook Hour is available on Twitter as The Overlook Hour. And The Overlook Hour is available on YouTube. Find us, like us, comment, tell a friend, tell me. Randy.
While we're teasing things here, I will say that I will be doing this show from a separate location next week. Tune in to find out.
Any more information on that, Randy?
That's what the tease is for.
Okay, thank you so much.
But you're in a separate location every week.
That's also correct.
A different
Randy, your retort.
separate location.
Fair. Russell, your retort.
Is it a tree house in your backyard?
Randy?
No, but also never go with a hippie to a second location.
Oh, God. No more 30 Rock references. Enjoy.
Damn, I thought that was cool until you let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, see, now you hate it, don't
Yeah,
you?
no, I really hate it.
Yep. Randy, take us home.
I already did.
When the doorbell rang, I got up from the couch and saw through the peephole a big scary ghost. I waited a solid minute and a half for the ghost to float away, but when I sat back down, a big fart noise filled the room because I think a second ghost put a rude-ass whoopee cushion right there where I like to place my buns of steel. I have been a big, scary, sexy cyborg this whole time.
I wasn't sure if you were actually going to read the parentheses right there.
Is this officially where Bench Fry has jumped the shark?
I don't know.
Is this officially what we're calling it?
I think we'd have to zoom out and look at the whole segment and realize that he's, taking it completely over. And maybe the segment's jumped the shark.
Well, he's cheating now. This is clearly a cheat. I mean, yeah, it's he's got the parenthesis.
Yeah. Well, should we get technical? I think the period is what.
Well, when you have a segment called the 2-sentence horror story, you got to get technical. Don't interrupt me.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I think technically you actually added words to his already long sentence as well. I was following along.
I swapped scary and sexy. I know that happened.
You did.
They're one and the same.
Yeah, I wish
You
you could
caught
see
me.
his
I-
face.
I was like, oh no,
Wait, the cat's out of the bag.
I'm scared. All right, the cat is out of the bag. I mean, it's already sort of preempting our announcement, I guess.
I don't know. I'm going to fight you on it.
We may see you next week, Creepy. All right, just let me know.
All right.
Not that it really makes a difference anymore. I'm never that far away.
All right. Well, before you leave, do you want to say anything in case you never come back?
No.
All right, bye. He was an important addition to the show.
We just need to find a place for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pushing for YouTube. I would love to see a video component.
We all are very proud of, and no one is more proud than he of his physical manifestation. So it is a possibility where we will see more of Creepy Clark. But this is episode 250, and yeah, we still got to do a regular intro. So maybe we could do it in there. No, we're doing it right now.
Well, I mean, technically they would hear it.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
It's very confusing.
It's been confusing because we're talking about the new format so much, and then I kind of forgot that we still are going to do the old format for this one, but doesn't matter. So cat's out of the bag there. Schrodinger. Is that how Schrodinger's cat works?
I don't think
Randy,
so.
you're a nerd who knows things.
I don't think that's how it works, but
Okay.
maybe. It might apply in some sense.
We've decided that we are going to change the format of the show to benefit us and, frankly, to benefit you, the listener. We when we started this show, we knew our strengths and we were going to learn our weaknesses. And our strengths was that we knew each other and we were friends and we knew how to talk.
God, I hate that.
Everything else,
We had nothing else.
I mean, that's pretty much
That
it.
was it. I didn't even want to be on the show.
What else are our strengths?
Yeah. I mean,
we all have gotten much better in the last 5 years. 5 years, by the way.
Yeah,
250 episodes. And after that, the loose nature of the show was really there because I've been listening to podcasts for a very long time, and I just think that the loose organic nature of a podcast is one of its more attractive features, and the overproducing of podcasting started the sort of corporatization. And we're a small grassroots independent show, and we always will be. If we ever get a sellout check from Manscaped, we will gladly take that, but nothing is ever really going to change. By the way, as far as Manscaped is concerned, they're back in my good graces. I sent them an email, let them know that my Manscaped Lawnmower 2.0 malfunctioned. Without question, sent me a new one.
Yeah, while you were gone, we got like 3 packages. We're like, what the fuck is he doing in Arizona?
They gave me my refill, which I was due, and then they sent me the new Lawnmower 2.0 without question.
It's like you're out of town getting packages from Manscaped the whole time.
Hey man, I was unscathed down there in Phoenix. God, I shaved so much hair off of my body yesterday. It was weird.
In preparation for 250.
Well, in preparation for this heat wave we're in right now, baby. Heat wave. I say it's heat wave. It may be 79 degrees outside.
Wait, come back. You were talking about how you listened to podcasts for a long time and then you wanted a free flow format. And I'm curious at what point you thought the world needed this podcast to come in.
Well, we have changed so many things in the last 250 episodes that we've done. And I think, that's the thing. We're not married or anything. I'm like, hey, let's try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And we abandon it. And then if it does work, we stick with it. And just at 250, I felt like it was a good time for us to sort of change things up. So we're going to do that now. So what we're going to do is release the episodes into 2. We're going to go to a bi-weekly format. We will release the first show on Tuesday, which will be roughly an hour. We're trying to stick with that to where it's just us. And then on Thursdays will be our interview portion of the show. And so we will have Tuesday, Thursdays, and that will be the Overlook Hour for the foreseeable future. We are not going behind a paywall. Everything will be right there for you. We just feel like breaking it up. We just want to see how that works and see what that looks like. And if we want to change back, we'll change back. But right now, this is the direction we want to go in and what we're thinking about doing. And just, when we gotten to the point of 3-hour episodes, and then I started listening back to those, and I just felt like that we could trim some things up. And so that we're going to give that a heads up.
Be more frank about what you thought, because I thought it was really interesting.
I got high about 2 weeks ago, and I was listening to the show. And when this happens, it can go either one of two ways. I either giggle uncontrollably and think we're heading in the right direction and this is funny, or I think this is the worst piece of shit I've ever heard in my life and I want to just crawl inside a hole and die. This was somewhere in the middle, to where I felt like there were good things happening, but we could clean this up. And there's no question that we can clean this up. For example, I could clean up this intro of what I'm doing right now, which in the future will be a part of that. But being that this is the end of the old
Yeah.
show, I figured that I would do the old.
I'm with you.
But I just felt like when I was listening to the show, there were a lot of inside jokes, and it's just not the most pleasant listening experience for new listeners.
Now, if you're a longtime listener, I'll high five you later, because I preached about that forever, even though I think I may be the worst offender when it comes to that stuff. I just can't help it.
Well, it was just, I wanted us to be comfortable. So ultimately that was my big concern. Because like you did not want to be on the show.
No.
However, I needed you on the show because you were the driving force behind the show. Now, essentially how this show started, it was like, you had the website, and I was
You
like,
go ahead and call it a blog.
a blog. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Phew. That word used to hurt a lot, but it's a fucking blog.
and I was like, you ever think about doing a podcast? And you were like, yeah, but I don't really want to do it. But he's like, if you want to do it, we'll do it. And
Dude,
I needed an outlet.
it's so weird even hearing that, because back then, I didn't even know what the fuck a podcast was.
Yeah.
I just, honestly, I just like being a part of projects, and I'm like, hey, if you need me for something, I'll show up and I'll do it. That's all I want. It's like, it could have been anything. And then I'm like, oh God, you want me to talk on that fucking thing? Like, oh, I did not want that. Originally, it was supposed to be you in a third chair.
Which would have never happened. We wouldn't have gotten past episode 1.
Oh God, have you ever gone back and listened to like maybe the first 20?
It's rough.
Like any of them? Yeah.
And I knew it was going to be rough. That was the whole thing, because I was coming from, with stand up, and I know you gotta fail in a small room in front of strangers from Europe.
You got me, oh man, quickly, because you love Tim Dillon and you worship him. He shows up on my search engine. I like him a lot too. I know Randy hates him. Randy hates anybody related to QAnon. And after that Bitcoin conference, I've just been like kind of watching his shit again. And he showed up on that podcast, Kill Tony, and which is basically open mic with a roasting platform built in. It might be one of my favorite things ever. And
I can't do it.
And I've gotten into it, and when I watch people show up there and all you get is the product, right? Just the product, their 1 minute of stand up. And then they ask them how long you've been doing it. It's shocking how people might go up there and kill and be like, this is the first time I've ever done it. And they're like, congratulations. And there are other people who are like, 11 years. And it's like, wow, the time, we've been doing this for 5 years. And I'm like, at a point you start to think like, well, how long are we going to do it? And like, why? And I really think it's, the journey, you just got to learn from it.
Well, we're doing it because we want to.
Oh, for sure.
And the reason why we're changing the format is because we want to.
Yeah, I think it could be better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we all think that. So why not give it a shot? So that's just what we're doing. Tuesday, Thursday. Nothing else is changing, except we're streamlining everything. We're gonna do a few more segments. There's gonna be some bits.
Yeah, we had that weird where I was like really into radio for like 4 months.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, no,
Who
but
cares?
so that shifted. We'll probably do, I like doing the clips. So we'll probably do audio clips, segments up top. The thing that I think is going to be the most shocking change is trying to stay true to our name for the first time ever and keeping the show to an hour. I'm a little worried about that. And I came in today saying, you know what? Today's going to be the the test run. We're going to do it. And I already think we've overshot it just with this conversation.
Well, I mean, we chose the Overlook Hour because it sounds cool. It's
Yeah.
better than the Overlook podcast. The Overlook
yeah,
Hour.
that's whack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Randy, your thoughts.
I'm with it. Tuesday, Thursday, baby.
There we go.
Angry Randy. That's going to be a new segment where you just yell and challenge people to find you on the streets.
I've never yelled. Also, I said that kindly, sort of.
No.
Have you ever? Have I heard you raise your voice?
Probably not. No, I was just talking about this yesterday with some family members. It doesn't happen often.
Wait, you yelling at your mom yesterday, dude?
No, we were just talking about my cool and calm demeanor and how I never raise my voice.
When was the last time you raised your voice, and to whom?
That's the thing. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you don't get angry. Because Randy, you get that twitchy energy.
Oh, it's true.
Like you get red in the face and you get like kind of that like
when Randy gets perturbed, I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah, but he doesn't get loud.
Yeah.
Which is a problem, when he finds his domestic counterpart. His neighbors will never know when he's beating her.
It's true.
It'll be very quiet.
The silent beating. The Randy Stat story.
All right.
All right. Yeah, Russ, anything else to add that
Nah,
we're changing the
Just
show?
kind of living in the moment. I feel more work on the horizon, even though it's going to be a tighter product. And I'm like, I kind of like just fucking around on here. Again, I'm going to keep pushing to do video. I feel like there's a live stream platform.
Yes, that's not outside of. Again, we need to maximize what we can on the audio end.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll get there.
But I want to fuck around like on live stream. Like
I know
the shit I've been doing over
Just
at the
do
BFD.
it, baby. Get a camera.
Oh, I mean, we got a bunch. They're just
But
like
see,
chilling.
Russ,
What?
you're like a contractor who's just going out and building all these houses and not finishing the houses.
Oh, I get it. I know.
You've got this village of abandoned buildings.
Well, there's like many a turn of phrase to be like, the one who tries to do all succeeds at none or some shit.
Well, it was like, our beloved friend and former guest of this show, Travis Z, always talks about just shooting arrows out into the,
Mm-hmm.
There's the thing. He's like, what is he, a Gemini or what is it? He's like, I'm an Aries. I just shoot arrows.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. There's a lot we can do, and I think tightening the show up will free up a lot of other shit too. So it'll be cool. And then Randy will stop getting mad at us for recording for like 5 hours a day.
That's
least-
true. You guys just dropped for me for like 45 seconds, but I caught that part.
Okay.
For the record, Randy's not the only one.
Yeah.
I don't like it either. What are you gonna do?
Cry.
Yeah, stop crying, Randy. Jeez.
I don't cry, baby.
All right. Yeah, you show zero emotion.
I don't know how.
Have you ever?
Yeah, I have.
I don't
Not-
believe you. I don't know.
It happens on occasion.
For a dude who loves film and Criterion, I would imagine that you'd be more like empathetic with like the filmmaking spectrum. But I doubt a film has ever made you cry.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time that's happened.
Not even like Babe.
I think I know that it's fake too much, that I can't dive in 100%.
Wow. Weird. Even with like a drama?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always like still in the back of my mind, It's like the part of me that just overthinks everything. You got to get
Weird.
a little alcohol in you, get rid of some of that prefrontal cortex, you know what I'm saying?
Actually, I'm going to use that as a terrible segue. Actually, it's a good segue, but I'm worried I won't be able to follow it up correctly.
Confirmed.
So Randy having problem, what is the
Randy having problem.
What is the I can't think of the phrase now. When people say like you have to suspend disbelief.
Uh-huh.
Is that it?
Yep.
I feel like there's got to be a better one out there. Anyway, Randy having a you watch movies and you know that they're fake, so you can't cry.
Maybe, yeah. That might be the reason.
But what about documentaries?
Well, I feel like storytelling is so human that even if somebody was like lying, but they're sitting in the room telling you,
Yes, but see, here's you just nailed it. Randy is not human.
that's why he's our engineer.
He works in tech. He engineers. He's trying to become a cyborg. Also, since we're talking about technical things, you may hear a low hum in the background. That is a fan. I will not turn it off because it is hot in this room. If it is bothering you, listen to something else.
It's cool.
It is
Mine's on
very
too.
hot, dude. I can't hear anything on your end. I'm curious if anybody can hear it on our end either.
I don't know. It may sound like Vietnam.
Sounds like
Like
the
a
beginning of
chopper.
Apocalypse Now.
Sure. Started walking down a road I didn't want to walk down.
I got it. Yeah, man, it's kind of like fucking my energy up. I'm like sweating. You have a headband on. I need to get a headband.
You want to be
Same.
headband bros?
Yeah.
I want to get your headband.
Keep the shit out of my eyes. No, don't do it now.
Doing it now.
Oh God.
Oksana, you want one?
How many headbands do you have? All right.
I'm looking at headbands on Amazon right now. I was thinking about getting some the other day too when I was running.
Did you quit?
Quit running?
Yeah.
No, I just taken a hiatus for a week. I don't know. I've been in Pleasanton like since Thursday, so I usually only run on the weekends, and then I didn't this weekend.
You know, that's a movie trope that I never felt comfortable with, where it's like, you get it a lot in horror movies where a couple will go out on a vacation and, you know, usually they have a Hollywood actress in the film and they're very good looking. So a lot of the time you get like the mise en scène of the town with them jogging in like an unfamiliar location. And
Mhm.
every time I've ever gone to like San Diego for like a convention, even when I was working out all the time, I thought like, "Hey, maybe I should like continue to work out here and like, you know, we're sharing a hotel room, so maybe I should go outside." And I'm just like, nobody really does that. And I'm like, I get it. Like if you're even in just in Pleasanton, I wouldn't go jogging. Like I feel like you have to be comfortable with that area.
Yes, that's kind of my thing too. I don't know. It's like I don't know. I mean, I do know the area very well since I grew up there, but I know like my route in Oakland where I can go like almost exactly 3.5 miles. You know, so I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna go. So I guess I'm not good at just freestyling it when I start running.
Freestyle jogging.
Yeah.
All right. Clark brought in a bandana. It was tied already. And I've seen him wear it before. So I made a snap decision. I'm like, am I just going to put this on? And I did. It's orange. I think there was hair in it when I put it on. I'm very aware of that stuff because I have long hair. So like if I'm ever like in the bathroom at work and I look down, there's like a long black hair, I get embarrassed, even though it might not be mine. It's just that thing where it's like, well, it's probably mine.
For sure.
And he brought one for Oksana. This is dumb. I don't know what we're doing. We really do need to recall this whole show. Again, your visual gags for the audio podcast.
Dude, we look sick as fuck right now, dude.
Anyway, I think we're done fucking around, right? Now we're gonna get real and serious.
Yeah, with a Russell retread, bro, from
Oh, no,
Randy.
not yet. Remember in the new format.
you're too
we're doing
early.
Segments. We're doing segments up top.
We're
Then
not
over.
doing the new format. This is the old format.
I know, but it's training wheels.
We got to go out with a bang, brother.
Oh yeah, I feel it. I'm gonna go out with a bang when I
Okay.
pass out from a heat stroke.
Can I just say how natural you look with a
That's a bandana
bandana headband?
That's fucking dumb.
Randy, he looks like a natural. He looks like
What does that
ju-
mean?
It looks like you just got off your Harley, dude.
Oh, dude.
Looks like you just got off your Harley and you're like, I want to hold Rasputin.
that would never. It'd be like a Bud Light.
By the way, they have a new special release barrel aged old Rasputin. Have you
I
guys
don't like the
remember
barrel aged shit.
that? You don't like the barrel aged?
Nah.
You're missing out.
Like for 5 years in a row, that's all I would get my dad was like whiskey, and I forget
Whiskey in the jarro?
whiskey in the barrel, and you know it's like aged 100 years. It's like okay, whatever.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it's really. I would always think like what they planned that, like it was gonna hit the shelf in Bevmo 100 years from now.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. But
Well, the barrel is 100 years old. Probably.
that's what that means. Oh, I'm an
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
That's okay.
I didn't
I
either.
mean, dude, so they found an old barrel. and put
Typically,
whiskey-
yeah.
Misleading sentence.
dude, no joke. Wait, so they have like 5-year-old barrels?
Yeah.
Do they have like a birthday? They have like a ceremony? It's like you've graduated. Now
Well, I mean, they do it with whiskey. They do it with wine.
yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you're not going to hear in the future.
No, you'll hear it.
I mean, it will sneak in, but it
I mean,
won't.
look, man. You can put a shark in a different ocean, and it's still going to swim. You understand?
No. Not quite, but yeah, let's move on. Because this week I've got another edition of the Thomas Burke report, the TBR report.
The TBR report.
Which is very similar to the ATM machine.
What?
The TBR report.
Yeah, I'm with
stands
you.
for the Thomas Burke report.
Uh-huh.
ATM machines is M is machine in the title.
Oh, I've been thinking about that a lot. So the
Automated telling machine, is that what ATM stands for, Randy?
I'm not sure.
If only we had someone with computer access.
I forget what the
I-
T means.
Dude. So I told you, I brought this up.
Teller, like a bank teller.
I brought this up like a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
automated teller machine.
So when I was like, it's weird to me that report is also in the acronym. So I think the acronym might mean the Thomas Burke recommendation, which is not a good title, which would also justify why it's an acronym,
Yeah, the Thomas Burke recommendation report.
which is, that's why we don't say it that way.
But TBR that's good.
Yeah, I know. I like TBR.
Those are 3 good letters that belong with each other.
Yeah.
And who are we to separate them?
So I did have a segue earlier when Randy was talking about being unable to suspend disbelief and in turn cry when he feels like another human might. And this week I brought Clark in on our the TBR.
It's the TBR report.
Movie, which was Horror in the
Change
High
it up.
Desert. You know what? I'll just read from the email and then I'll go on to what I was going to say.
Horror in the High Desert. I believe I laughed over.
Okay. So Thomas email, he said, "This week I bring to you a new release on Tubi called Horror in the High Desert. In 2017, an experienced outdoor enthusiast vanished in northern Nevada. Nevada, while on an outdoor excursion. On the 3-year anniversary of his disappearance, friends and loved ones recall the events leading up to his vanishing, and for the first time speak about the horrifying conclusion of his fate. He said, okay, so if you haven't watched this one yet, I think you all are in for a treat. I've already watched this twice now because I love it so much. With the majority being sort of a slow burn mockumentary, you might be asking yourself halfway through, why the hell did Thomas Burke recommend this to me? But give it a chance and stick with it all the way through, because if you do, I promise there's a satisfying ending here. Also, the main protagonist is sort of an oddball, which I found intriguing, and it makes him very likable. I've heard differing opinions about the ending, where some like and others don't, so I'm definitely curious to hear your thoughts. He also said, I'm not going to say it. Anyway, so Horror in the High Desert, it's on Tubi, and it is brand new. It came out in 2021. And I was talking to Tom earlier this week, and he had asked me, what's my favorite subgenre of found footage? And I think I told him
subgenre?
yeah, like what's your favorite subgenre of found
like
footage?
screen life.
Yeah. Like examples would be like snuff fiction, or maybe a faux documentary, or like the different kinds of
Or
found
like
footage.
television, news television.
Yeah, like
news
faux
magazine.
And
That'd be it.
I think I was trying to have a good answer for him. And I'm like, I think I really like security camera footage, like Hangman. Like if we could do one where it's just like, it's like direct cinema from, security cameras. And other than Hangman, I really don't know a lot. I know there are a couple, but I think I was wrong. And Horror in the High Desert is a lot like Phoenix Forgotten, where the first 2 acts are a faux documentary about something that had happened, and the third act is like a new discovery. And I I don't really want to spoil this movie. Just a heads up for you, Clark, because I know you watched it with me.
Correct.
But I do think it's important to say that the third act is like, new footage and kind of like, it's a period to the story. It's an ending.
Yes.
And I think this is my favorite subgenre. I don't know what I would call it though. Where it's almost like exploration, faux documentary ending with like snuff fiction. I'm sure there's a better way to describe that. But I love the like, we're going to give you context to this like creepypasta or something. Like the third act could be a video that you just stumble upon on Reddit and be like, dude, what the fuck's going on here? And in the format of a movie, the first 2 acts are just setting up the footage.
Well, there's actual found footage within. So this is a faux documentary with found footage integrated within that faux documentary.
Yeah. Which I think the best example might be Phoenix Forgotten. Did Lake Mungo end that way? Would that count? Yeah. I don't know. I think this might be my favorite one. And I've been holding this book and I wanted to segue because remember that lady's name who was practicing saying earlier? Margaret Schreier. She's a professor at a university. She does a lot of psychology stuff. But in that book that I love to reference and always get the author's name and the title of the book wrong, found footage horror films, Fear and the Appearance of Reality. I can never say that name correctly. Alexandra Heller Nicholas. She quotes her in it. And it's something that I've been thinking a lot about. This quote comes out of the idea that a lot of people think the Blair Witch Project only worked and was a box office hit because people thought it was real. And when the film came out in Australia, the cat was already out of the bag and people knew that it was fake.
In Australia?
Yeah. And it still killed. It crushed. Like it still had the same return that it did in America. So Margaret Schreier is reflecting on that. And she says, there are some recipients who willingly enter into the game of the directors, yet do so with a kind of double consciousness. They keep themselves deliberately ignorant of the fictional status of the film, with a view to a higher enjoyment of the ambiguities, yet knowing full well on a meta level that keeping themselves ignorant is necessary only because they know about the film as fiction. So she's talking about like this negotiation that horror fans have with found footage where they come in and they're like, I know it's fake, but I'm making a conscious effort, or maybe subconscious, where for this time I'm treating it as it's real.
Yeah, I do that with porn every day, dude.
Yeah, but you don't do it with found footage, I don't think.
Jerk off?
Oh, dude, okay, maybe. No, but like there were moments when we were watching this movie and I was like deeply invested. Like I'm just like, oh shit, like I'm tense. And then, I could feel your vibe that you're putting out and you were not sharing that sentiment. And further in the book, she even gets into like how it's almost like an ARG, like an alternate reality game that people are participating in. So if you could imagine the Blair Witch Project as a game, and it's like, okay, if the negotiation here is that you have to come in and take it seriously and pay attention and just forget that it's fake for a little bit. I think those are the people that like found footage. And it's not because they're like dumb or ignorant. It's just you're willing to like, remove the armor and kind of live in this weird reality. And I'll tell you, you really need it for horror in the high desert. Like it's an indie production. And I mean, there's no hiding that. There's a lot of weird choices that happen. Yeah. And there's a lot of like contextual shit where you're like, I don't know if that would happen that way. But if you can shrug that off, I really think this movie's worth it. Like one of the things you mentioned. Now, full disclosure, I think me and Oksana turned on this movie on Thursday when Thomas sent me his new report. And we started at like midnight. And I got like 45 minutes in and she was falling asleep and I was kind of like in and out. I'm like, okay, I got to end it. Like I want to come back and be like fully invested. And there were a couple things like our main character, his sister looks like she birthed him. She looks like she could be his grandma.
That was wild.
And they never touch on it.
They never touch on it, and it annoyed me the entire runtime of this movie.
See, now in my head, when I got that, I was like, okay.
Yeah. Now, in retrospect, I was like, but it did sort of like set the table for the rest of the movie. Now, again, to provide a rebuttal on you talking about what? Oh, okay.
So Oksana pulled up a picture of the actress. She look, my God, she's like a chameleon. She looks younger in that picture, but her gray hair.
And I'm gonna tell you something right now. Her name is Tanya. That's a home run. She looks like a Tanya.
Good job, parents.
No question.
No, but she keeps saying like, "Oh, my brother," and it's so you're so aware of it that you almost think she's like lying.
It is. There is a solid 20 to 25 year age difference.
At least it looks that way.
Yeah.
And again, in my head, that's what I'm telling myself. Like, do you think it helps verisimilitude or hurts it when something
It hurts it when she's talking about a scenario when they were children camping together, and in no point where he a child and you were a child.
But here's the thing.
Unless we have a Benjamin Button scenario.
I feel like shit like that would never happen in a real production. And I avoided saying Hollywood because I don't think it matters if it's a feature. I think if a TV crew had that, they would have a makeup department like deal with her because they're hyper aware of what the audience is going to think, and they're an authority. So they don't want people to question shit like that. So the fact that she looked that old and it was that off, I was kind of like, it could read true. Where it's like, this would only happen in like a indie production, which, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, the frame is a faux doc, but we never hear about like who's filming it. Like it feels like a TV crew. Like
Yeah.
it would be like A&E or something.
Yeah.
But we're never made aware
No.
of who's putting on that production.
No.
That's really weird now that I'm thinking about it. But again, that's not the only thing. They hire a private eye at one point in the movie.
Private Eye.
And that guy is so not what a Hollywood PI is that I'm
no.
like, is that a choice or
Also, who provided? I assume there was no wardrobe in this movie, and that the clothes or the clothes of the actor.
oh yeah.
So apparently he likes leather jackets that look like trash bags. That was the worst.
But see, now again, does that hurt or hinder? Like if you have a PI
I'm with you.
with weird like a quirk, I'm like, well, I imagine most PIs would be quirky weirdos.
Look, here's the thing. Does everything work in this movie? No, and that's okay because I think there's I have great appreciation for this movie. Like I could never. Why?
Yeah, to be clear, I'm only addressing it because I think it's an interesting
It is
thing.
It is definitely an interesting thing. It's an interesting, and I would 100% show this movie.
Now, here's another thing. Our main character, who's named Gary, which might be the most unfortunate name to pick. Now, did that ever cross your mind? Calling him Gary the R? Because when the minute we hear some audio from him,
No, I
want to be delicate here because this is another situation where he starts talking and you're like, does this guy have like Down syndrome? And then they set it up with his love of trains.
Yeah,
And like he's a loner, and I'm like, it's a weird.
He does have a speech impediment. I never once made that connection with the character from the Whack Pack of Howard Stern.
No, but I mean Gary. I'm like,
I
dude,
get it.
And the thing is, it paints a picture in this movie that there's a lot being unspoken, which kind of adds to the build. Because I mean, you're sitting there, you're like, what are we dealing with here? Aliens? And it's like, I'm not going to say whether that's correct or not, but the movie is it's plentiful because you're like, okay, it's called Horror in the High Desert. So it's clearly a horror movie. But for about 55 minutes, you wouldn't know. And they're kind of just laying a bunch of lore out.
Oh, yeah. The whole thing is the build towards the third act when we're actually looking at the footage of what happened. And there is no sense of horror until we get there.
And then you get there, and
then we get there and like, okay, now we're doing
I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Now, I'll
tell you, the first scare was very effective and taken straight out of the book of James Wan.
Hold on, let me jump in there and be like, the bar is not high here. I do not want people to hear this and be like, I got to go fucking see this movie right now because it's going to scare the shit out of me. like you gotta shuck all that. You really got to be in the ARG mode.
Yes. However, if you do listen to this show and you do actually follow up with some of our recommendations, like this is within the tread.
Dude, honestly, all the found footage movies that I've seen, I think Thomas nailed it with the email. Like like you asked, you're like, hey, how did Tom set this one up? And what I told you, he said, stick with it. And I think clearly, honestly, in the future episodes, I'm going to do a better job of setting up who Thomas Burke is. He's a found footage filmmaker who probably has seen more of them than anybody. Now, we do talk to found footage creator Michael Steinberg, and he's deeply, like, he quit his job as being a lawyer to take on that website. But I don't think he's seen everything. And I think Thomas really is, he's trying to watch it all. And him pointing this film out as a stick with it kind of, I don't think the ending's worth it. Dude, it's fucking worth it. And man, it's really good. I think you need to be aware as an audience member that when you come into found footage, you got to be able to shelf a lot of the technical stuff.
Right. Now, again, let's go back to the casting of the sister, which again is a generational difference.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, look, happens,
Maybe,
which does happen. Like,
yeah.
there are cases to where, a brother and sister may be 20 years apart. Now, the reason why I say that they stuck with this and didn't really address it is because she's solid.
Mm-hmm.
She's
good.
She's good. She's good in this role because I don't want to touch on a whole lot there, but there's a lot to her performance and there's a lot to her personality that brings a whole new caveat.
Ooh,
a little tease, you like that? Into what the movie is. So
also she
in that
looks.
regard, I only think now here's the thing. I think that they casted the right person. And I think Gary was the right person. And I think they're just like, all right, we'll make it work. But I think there were maybe a couple different things. Again, we're going into that contextual thing, and there are certain things that just sort of drove me crazy. But like this movie charmed the hell out of me, man.
Well, I think it's interesting how different we see the material. Because with me, when you have that negotiation that this is an ARG, whether or not it was the right choice doesn't matter anymore.
I never had that negotiation with myself in my life because I don't know how to process that. But continue.
Well, whether or not it's the right choice, it's kind of what I would always say about acting. Like, I'm not a good critic when it comes to actors because I always assume that the director got what they wanted. And same thing here, where her looking like a whole full generational gap older. Like, in my mind, I think well, it's probably because she's had a fucking hard time losing her brother for 3 years and she's aged unnaturally and maybe she's had a breakdown or you know what I mean? Like, that's where my mind goes.
I've aged unnaturally just for having to go back between here and Phoenix for a month and a half.
So imagine,
Randy, I got gray hairs now, baby.
That's tight. Get more.
I don't know. Gray hair and a baby face is just not a good look.
dude. Gray hair and a baby face.
Gray hair and a baby face.
That was our old show. Yeah, I got gray in my beard, not in my head though.
You got in your beard?
Yeah, dude, I have orange, red, like
orange and red.
Yeah, it's getting crazy.
What?
There'll only be like one. But yeah, there's gray.
Were you exposed to some sort of chemical fire? What?
I did break a thermometer open when I was like 8.
You got mercury poisoning.
I did, and I was hypnotized by it. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to spoil a lot of this movie. And there is an important thing. Actually, it's not important.
Also, have you come to the realization that we've talked about this movie maybe longer than the runtime of the movie?
Yeah, that's true. And I'll try and wrap it up. There's a thing, though, where... So in the third act, the way that the footage is discovered... in Phoenix Forgotten, it's literally like... The documentary was done at about an hour, which I thought was pretty cool because that's a regular runtime length.
Phoenix Forgotten was painful.
Dude, I love that movie. Did you see it in a theater?
Yeah, we saw it together.
Okay. Yeah, I loved it.
Randy was there.
Yeah, I dug it.
So in the third act, it's like an amendment to the feature, and they're like, "Hey, something new happened. We found the footage," and they move forward. In this film, it's part of the documentary, which you're like, "Well, how? Like, how do they not address that right off the top?" And it's because they all suddenly discover that Gary had a blog. Now, me and you were like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, it's totally possible that Oksana's been blogging and we have no idea about it, and it's a hit.
No,
I
I
could
don't
see
buy that. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. And because look, I have tried for the past 3 hours to try and have a new point of view on that, but the way that they structured this thing,
Yeah.
because they needed this as a part of the movie. Like the third act hinged on this whole blog thing, and I just didn't buy it.
Well,
and then when we get to the action, it caught me back up because I was like, okay, this is kind of fun.
so you're
and
saying
weird.
it justified the weirdness.
I don't know if it justified. We just moved on.
Well, the thing is, so they talk about how his blog, he never uses his real name. And I'm like, okay, you could Google somebody's name and it would pop up if he had used it. So I'm like, it's enough for me. It was okay.
But then they're like, he's got 50,000 followers. And if that were the case, the timeline that they set up in terms of them having the investigation and having the search, and then they called off the search, and then the sister or someone,
No,
not
no.
even the detective.
I know what
was
you're
like,
thinking.
I found the blog. And the detective's like, they found the blog before we did. I was like, well, what good are you as a detective? 50,000 people found this fucking blog. You couldn't?
So again,
buy it.
regional news. Still, yeah, you'd think maybe somebody would connect the face and reach out. And
Now, the regional news report, I didn't hate.
no, actually, honest, I made a note. It might be the best fake news report.
It's up there. Now, they had the ticker at the bottom. They got a little too cute with it.
Yeah.
But it's not bad.
That guy could be an anchor.
Yes.
I wouldn't be shocked if he was an anchor.
The format was a little too...
And I'll tell you, it's funny that it stood out to both of us. Clearly, because this is a mixed media. Like, that's what you get with a faux documentary. And that element of the whole movie felt the most polished.
Now, I'll agree with you. And I'll tell you right now, I have seen an infinite number of movies who have fucked it up way worse than this one.
Oh, yeah. It's like kind of like a skanky looking broad in front of a green screen,
it's
and you're like, that's
insane.
not a news
It's
reporter.
insane how unnatural, how they just can't get news reports right.
That one, they nailed it.
It's pretty good.
Congratulations. Anyway, what I was trying to work into is the blog element. So what ends up happening is Gary makes a discovery, and on his blog he posts videos about shit. Except the discovery he makes that terrifies him, he doesn't have video for. And the internet turns on him. And they start saying, like, man, you're a liar. Like, what the fuck? What are we doing? Like, and they start questioning everything prior. And they're just like, dude, if you saw it, why didn't you film it? You film everything.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, dude, that's a cool narrative effect, because it instantly reminded me of The Devil and Father Amorth, where I'm like, I had no reason to question that movie until that final fucking weird moment where there's a prompt and he's like, I didn't get any video of this, but this is the wackiest thing that happened.
Yeah.
Because my instinct was, well, now you called in to question everything prior.
Right.
And in this movie, I feel like that would be a moment where you could be like, dude, they wouldn't turn on him. Like, if they're fans. And instantly I was taken back to that film. I'm like, no, they totally would. And
also, the best part about The Devil and Father Amorth is the poster, but the poster looks like it should be a cover of a novel.
that's true. Yeah. It
Right?
does look like a book.
It 100% looks like a book.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which what it may have should have been.
If you're the type of person that looks forward to the TBR report, I'm sure you've probably seen The Devil and Father Amorth. If you hadn't, I highly suggest checking it out, because it's such a historical nonfiction moment that turns questionable by the last fucking 5 minutes, that I think it really would play well with this feature.
I say you should watch Sorcerer instead.
Okay, that's fair. Make it a triple feature.
That's prime freaking.
We'll do you open up with Sorcerer, you get everybody pumped.
Oh, have you not seen Sorcerer?
Negative.
No, I haven't. Sorcery?
Randy, have you seen it?
Wait, I can't
Negative.
Oh, Randy, come over and let's watch Sorcerer, bro.
I can't today.
Not today.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, Sorcerer's so good.
you know, I at the end of the day, I highly recommend watching Horror in the High Desert. Again, if you're a basic bitch, if you're, waiting on bated breath for the new Tarantino film, maybe it's not for you.
I don't understand these shots you take
I
at
don't-
QT, bro. Why are you taking all these shots at
don't know.
QT?
I don't know.
He's a nice man
I'm jealous.
with
That's
an
why.
enormous head.
I wish people wanted to hear me ramble about films for
What
14
size hat
hours.
do you think he wears?
I-
Has to be at least an 8.
He's probably never got a fitted hat before.
That's
It's
what I'm
probably
saying. I
true.
don't know if I don't know if a fitted hat could fit him. Randy, your thoughts?
I have no idea what head sizes are, so I'm gonna go with 8.5 for Fellini.
Randy, that is an enormous hat.
Sounds
That
fine
is
to
an
me.
That is an enormous hat.
What am I, like a 6?
Yeah, I'm between I'm like 7. I'm 7.5 is pretty good for me. So 8.5, and that's big.
It's big. With my hair, I think I was 7 5/8. But I got thick hair.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped wearing hats. I made a commitment to the length. I had to let people know my culture. Two things that I want to touch on very briefly before we move on. There's a moment where his older sister finds out about the blog and goes to download a video in order to bring it to the police, and she ends up deleting the video. And I'm like, did somebody who's never interacted with the internet make this movie?
Yeah.
Because that chain of events just is so unplausible.
Yeah.
It's like she found his computer, accessed the blog. Fine, maybe he's already logged in. But then you're pulling the whole mixer when you
Am
do
I?
that. Yeah, it's fine now.
Apologies.
Then she tries to download the video and accidentally deletes the video, and nobody can recover it. I'm like, okay. Also, there's another moment where we frame up an SD card and we zoom in on it, and there's dramatic music
Oh,
that
man.
plays, and nothing happens in the frame except for a really subtle zoom, and it feels like it goes on for a minute. Me and Clark both out loud started laughing. It's kind of a beautiful thing. Like, if you were to turn that into an NFT, I'd pay like 0.01 Ethereum for it. I'd happily have that on my digital wall.
What's that? Like $200?
Look it up. I don't want to. It's fluctuating.
Randy, what's Ethereum at right now, dude?
Not sure. Bitcoin's having a good day though.
Oh.
Okay, and I have one more surprise. Thomas, he likes our segment, and Thomas, we love you, dude. I appreciate you taking the time out of this and really keeping me on the found footage like effort. And what do you do when you appreciate somebody? You give them a gift. So he gave us a gift. I feel like I owe you one now. And he said, last week we talked about not having an outro for the TBR report.
The TBR report.
But now we do. And thank you again, Thomas. Here we go.
This concludes the TBR. This concludes the TBR.
Love it.
He's the best.
It's good. Tommy.
He's smiling so big. That's all I can say.
Thanks, Tom. All right. Randy Michael.
What's up?
I believe now. What are we going to call this? So we have to do Randy retread. Wait, is this the week where Russell you're doing a Randy?
I'm doing a
retread?
We
retread.
got a
And then
retread
he's doing
trade.
a retread of you, dude.
We're retreading the.
Whoa, a Russell Randy retread. Triple R, dude. Triple
Okay.
R. R cube, dude.
Loosen up that headband.
It is a little tight.
Mine is definitely tight. I just squeezed into it. I didn't adjust it in
It's
any way.
tight and it's also tight.
Tight square, dude.
Got it. Randy, do you have a bandana at your house?
No, I don't have a bandana.
We're all rocking bandanas, dude.
I know.
By
I
the
need to
way,
get one.
I posted it immediately on Instagram, and it's already catching fire.
Oh, yeah,
I've
right.
seen it.
You
It's
took
pretty
a
good.
picture of me.
Yeah, it's on.
Takes the
Oh my-
worst
He
pictures
takes
of
the worst
people.
fucking pictures.
Y'all aren't gonna like this one either.
Oh my god.
And I hashtagged it Bandana Boys with a Z.
Oh my god. You fucking idiot.
By the way, that was already a very popular hashtag. All right, Randy, bring us your R cubed, dude.
Sure. Yeah, I watched Caveat from Damien
Oh,
McCarthy.
KVT?
Huh?
KVT?
Caveat.
Yeah, I know the English language, so I knew how to
I don't.
pronounce it automatically.
That can't be an English word though. It's gonna be French.
Caveat
definitely
is
an
100%.
English word.
We use caveat is a very common word.
Hey, I'm just standing up for my friends, okay?
It's
Randy.
pretty good though. No, I really liked the intro, like pre-credits. Absolutely, like loved that. It's there's no dialogue or anything. It's just very moody and very creepy. The little what is that? A rabbit? Like a rabbit playing drums. That little doll is like very creepy, and like I don't know, everything about it was just like very well made, and it was a very cool practical effect. Yeah, I really liked the production design and like the muted color palette and everything.
Dude, the muted color palette might be my favorite thing in the movie.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Why? Like, I don't, it's got like the Terry Gilliam kind of like life to the environment.
Yeah.
But there's something about it just being muted. It's almost like edgy Tim Burton. No, I don't like that. The bunny is definitely edgy Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Or like Possum?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
It's nowhere near as like hard art like Possum though.
Yeah. Possum was like suffocatingly like
Yeah.
tense.
But
Sorry, Randy.
no, it's all good. No, yeah, so all that stuff I really liked. Like, I think it looks great. But I don't know, I didn't love the pacing of it. It kind of dragged a little bit, like towards the middle. Started to lose interest for a little bit, and then I had to, I don't know, re-immerse myself a couple minutes later. Yeah, I don't know, just like it's kind of like a cat and mouse game, sort of. So it felt like something creepy happened, and then like the person went back to a situation that was like, it just kind of had like a big back and forth, kind of like Willy's Wonderland. You know how there was like a fight, and then there was like a scene where he just like chills, and then he like goes back, and then he like kills some other robots.
Yeah.
So it had,
You know what?
it had that weird pacing
Totally.
for me, and it kind of, I don't know, it kind of felt a little repetitive.
Weird. You know, I think the problem with Willy's Wonderland was you're correct. You nailed it with the pacing.
Yeah.
But I think there was no story backing up Willy's Wonderland either.
Sure.
Like the thing in Caveat, the story, it evolves pretty much the whole movie. And there's always like something new to look forward to, where in Willy's Wonderland, it's kind of one note.
I'm with you, but I liked how it looked. I liked how the puppets looked. They looked cool.
Yeah,
The songs were fun.
I wanted it to be a lot more campier, which is weird.
Oh,
like
for
yeah.
sure.
I wanted more gore and more action, and yeah, I don't know.
They had plenty of soda though.
Caveat had a lot of ideas. Like, Randy, what did you think about the whole like you're chained to a leather vest?
That was cool. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the imagery and like the ideas were like creative, and thought they were cool. But yeah,
So
it was
this is
just
about S&M. What's going on here?
no S&M. I might have liked it more if there was.
Oh,
And by
now
that I
we
mean
know.
San Francisco Symphony and Metallica.
Oh,
But no, I think so I watched it this morning. I
Well
just like
played.
had to watch something before the show. And I think if I watched it later at night where I could see things a lot better too, and kind of like, I don't know, be more in the mood, I'm willing to give it a second chance is what I'm saying pretty much. So I didn't hate it. I thought it was good, but I'd like to see it in a theater would be great. I think I would like it
Dude.
a lot more.
100%. I was actually thinking about that, where I'm like, this movie needed a like independent theater treatment.
Yeah.
Like, it would be so much fun to go into a little theater and just be like, all right, what you got for me? And it's like, they got a lot. There's a couple of scares in that movie. I mean, we had been drinking
hmm
and they were working on me. And it was me, Oksana, and our buddy Terrell, the Blu-ray Tuesday homie. And also, I wasn't going to bring it up, but Randy sold a copy of Uncle Peckerhead to Terrell, which is great because Terrell recently got influencer status on Instagram. So, Randy, you did a lot of good with your threatening people on the street
Hell yeah.
bit you did last week.
I'm just saying, find me on the streets and we'll talk about how good Uncle Peckerhead is.
And then you'll yell at him. No, the movie fucking worked. And honestly, fuck, maybe we should try and get it to play in a theater out here. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Try and find somebody. This is an Irish production, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Which I didn't know going into until like after that intro, and then I started hearing people talking.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, if we want it to happen, we got to manifest it. Oksana, get on it. Start looking into that.
Besides,
Randy, I'm glad you when I do my movie, I think it's gonna be a swap. Same thing.
really
Yeah.
nice. And I'm not going
Jesus.
to take much more time at all. I'm just going to say, you guys know how I'm contrarian about things on the internet like YouTube and TikTok.
Correct.
But I think I need to download TikTok now because I found out your boy Neil deGrasse Tyson is on TikTok.
Oh my god.
Watched the video today. It's pretty good.
I'm not a huge
It's
fan.
got a lot
Randy,
of content on there.
Randy, I have no other feelings than disappointment right now because I was so proud. You know, when you take a stand, even though Randy, I may disagree with your stand,
Uh-huh.
I respect that you're taking a stand.
Sure.
But the fact that you're going to break down your stand for fucking Neil deGrasse lame ass Tyson for TikTok, just shame.
Hey man, I spent many, many hours on tours listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson on Star Talk. One of the first
Why?
podcasts I listened to.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, he got me too.
Kinda, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I
He
don't know
did?
exactly what the
Yeah.
situation was. But
Yeah, some other nerd bitch said that she fingered him or something. I don't know.
And that's a Me Too for him?
Yeah, because apparently he shouldn't have fingered her. I don't know. What was...
Oh, I thought you said she fingered him.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, he's really into Uranus,
Oh,
nice.
I mean,
I know.
I shouldn't be surprised. You know, I walked to that
I
neighborhood.
know. You put
You
a
might as well
ball.
knock on that door.
You place a ball on a tee, and somebody's gonna hit it.
Randy, anything else?
Just lastly, the I think I've talked about it on the show before. The TV series on HBO called Betty. It's directed by Crystal Moselle, who did Wolfpack, that documentary about those kids in New York City who never left their apartment.
Yeah, we were. That was a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, and then she made a movie called Skate Kitchen, and then this show is essentially kind of like an offshoot of that movie. So it features a lot of the same cast and stuff. It's basically just about kind of like young, like 20s, mid-20s girl skaters in New York City, and I don't know. It's really fun. The first episode just came back this week.
So this is scripted?
Yeah, it's scripted.
Okay. How was Skate Kitchen? Did you watch that? I don't think I watched that.
Yeah, I saw it. I think I saw it at the Roxy a couple years ago. I enjoyed it.
remember when it came
Yeah.
out.
It's got actually I forget. No, it's got Jaden Smith. I couldn't remember his name.
Ooh, Jaden.
Yeah, that was random. But yeah, Skate Kitchen's good, and yeah, Betty's fun.
On HBO Maximum.
Yes, sir.
All right. Guy Ritchie is a filmmaker that we are all familiar with.
Allegedly.
So that's the thing, Randy. He's Guy Ritchie has had a very interesting career. You know, he started out with his British gangster movies. Okay, of course we're talking Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, Rock and Rolla, Revolver. Then he made that weird Madonna movie that no one liked or understood. You know, and then we got Man from U.N.C.L.E., King Arthur, Aladdin came out of nowhere. Then he goes back to his roots in 2019 with The Gentleman. I like The Gentleman. Gentleman's fun, but it's very much within that Guy Ritchie sort of gangster thing. Now, 2021, we've got Wrath of Man with Jason Statham. Now, I don't think I'm telling any tales out of school here, but your boy Clark W. Little is a fan of Jason Statham. I like Jason Statham. How can you not like him?
I think he's kind of boring.
I think in terms of an action star, he's fun. He's got his quips. He's British. He's bald. This is a stereotypical action star.
You know what? Wait, go back. That opened on my birthday. I would not have gone and seen it. He's so action stars, right?
Yeah.
I don't like the effeminate, skinny guy, the pretty boy. Obviously, I like the muscle bound, long haired, like sword and sorcery shit.
Because you're Arnold all the way.
And then he's a little bit of an in between, but he's also in an area that I really don't like, which I would call like the modern bald MMA guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not into that. Like, I don't know. Clearly he should be more up my alley than like.
But it's an attitude thing,
I know,
and it works here.
It's kind of cool guy.
But it's a different role for him. And
Don't know,
here's
man.
why. Because he's the boss. You don't know he's the boss. Mild spoiler alert. But he's the boss.
A little spoiler with Clark
this,
Little.
This story is broken up into, I believe, 4 segments. And
it's like that show Undercover Boss.
Yes. It kind of is, actually. And the story sort of leaves you. It's done by 4 different segments, and the timeline is strewn throughout the whole thing. So it takes till the final one to everything come together, and you figure out how we got there.
Wait, is that?
Yes, Post Malone is in this as well.
Oh God!
Hell yeah!
Spoiler alert: Post Malone gets his head blown off.
Oh, I might watch it.
Also, the quickest cut from brain hemorrhage I've ever seen in my life. So
wait,
spoiler
unpack
alert,
that.
Jason Statham blows his head off. Okay, shoots him in the head.
Dude, you should have led with that.
And then it cuts to his blown up head with his brains for maybe half a second, and then they cut. I'm like, that's weird. It's just like brain, and then it goes away. So essentially, what happens is that Jason Statham is hired as a part of this cash truck company, delivering cash to banks and retail stores, the like.
Yeah.
When I used to manage a video rental store, I have to go into the bank every day to drop off the deposits and get change and what like. And often I would see the cash delivery trucks go into the bank, and they've always got the heavy vest on. Actually, one of my friend's dad worked for a cash delivery truck for a short time. So, as a part of this, Jason Statham is on the cash truck. Now, I will say, so many cash trucks get robbed in this movie. Like, I don't know how real. Like,
well, you showed me a video of a cash truck that was
in South Africa. That's wild. Randy, I'll remind me. I'll send you that one.
Tweet it out.
So. They don't really say it, but they're in Los Angeles, and Jason Statham is a part of this cash truck, and they get hit. And Josh Hartnett is freaking out, and Jason Statham like, "Hey, put your asshole back in your asshole and let me take care of this, all right?"
Oh God.
So then he goes, and then he kills 37 people, including Post Malone, and then him and the guy from Manhunter who is in this, Flat Top Magoo. They're like, who is this guy? He's not a cop. He doesn't smell like a cop. Who is
Flat Top Magoo?
That's what I call him.
What, Dick Tracy?
The guy in that guy.
I wouldn't call him Flat Top Magoo.
He had a flat top in Manhunter.
What's Manhunter?
That show on Netflix about the serial killers.
Oh yeah, everybody told me to watch that one.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, maybe.
Was
I'll
that
go.
Fincher?
I
Randy?
think so.
Yeah.
I liked Manhunter, not the film, which I also like the film.
I didn't like the film.
Hey, let me tell you
I
something.
haven't watched it in like.
Michael Mann is perfect in my eyes. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail
again,
you with that.
we've already mildly spoiled this, but essentially,
Did you say we.
more comes into play as Jason Statham's son actually gets murdered in an actual heist. Then we learn that Jason Statham actually runs a crew, and then they're trying to find out who hit that crew, and then we figure out this band of soldiers who actually started knocking off cash trucks. So the final act is essentially now. Yeah, I'm going into spoiler territory. So Randy, can I do some mild spoilers? By the way, I paid $20 to rent this movie. By the way. Because I did the quick math, and I'm like, by the time I go to the theater and maybe buy a soda, maybe a popcorn, maybe some sort of ice cream treat or a hot dog, I'm running $20. So, I've already ordered pizza. I'm here in the room. Let's
You
pay
took a
$20.
terrible photo of us. I just looked it up on IG.
Yeah.
And then I tried to take a revenge photo of you, and you look good in it. I fucking hate
Yeah,
Every time that fucking happens.
Okay, well, y'all ought to pose.
I didn't know you were doing it.
Also, long story short, I'm photogenic as fuck, and y'all need to get y'all's act together. Wrath of Man. Randy, I like this movie, man. I've seen it 1.5 times. I think it's fun. It's again, the suspension of disbelief that has to be there. I don't think this many cash trucks get knocked over on a regular basis, but it's not. There's not a whole lot of playful banter in this, opposed to what you are accustomed to with Guy Ritchie movies. This one's a little more darker, just in tone. The violence is there, as you would expect. And it doesn't get too dark. They go into one corner where they're like, they're trying to figure out who killed his son, right? And they finally get a name, and they say, it's the Gashi brothers. If it's anybody, it's the Gashi brothers.
The Gassy brothers?
The Gashi brothers. And they're like, man, that's some fucked up shit, the Gashi brothers. The kids, pornography, drugs. And then they named one other thing that was like, wait, that too? It's like, that's weird. It'd be funny if I could remember what that was, but it doesn't matter. And then they go to the Gashi brothers, and then it's like a bunch of naked fat girls, and then they let them go. But they shoot everyone else.
Wait, naked fat girls?
Who are underage. By the way, let me tell you something. They were like, Jason Statham's like, how old are the girls? And they're like, not old enough. He's like, give them the $2 million and kill everybody else. And so they did. Essentially what happens is that we find out that a group of veterans started knocking off cash trucks because they had nothing else to do, and they were in the support group, and were all in Afghanistan together, and they're like, we're bored, I need a mission. Like, one guy's like, it's a zoom of a guy just holding a baseball, and he's squeezing it. He's like, I just need a mission. And then they start small. One guy was a security guard at a house, and they framed it to where they knocked him out, and then they stole the job. So he was the inside guy, and then they did a small robbery, and then they started going to cash trucks, and then so they had a guy on the inside who was giving them intel on which cash trucks to hit. And then, unfortunately, Jason Statham's son and Jason Statham got in the middle of one of those. And so then Jason Statham took the job as the cash delivery guy to try to figure out what's going on the inside to kill everything. And then he eventually does. I just spoiled the movie.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought it was so much fun. It's exactly what I wanted out of this thing, and it did surprise me a little bit. And Statham does a great job. Statham was great in this.
Did you really spoil it, though? Like, if you're coming into that movie looking for a deep and, like, complicated plot.
No, I mean,
you're looking for boys to get his fucking head shot off.
Josh Hartnett is also good in this. He's just a complete idiot. He's great.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is fun.
If anything, I've come out of your Clark Little spoiler alert wanting to see the movie more.
Because I am an excellent storyteller.
But why were there fat, naked, underage girls? Like, why was it important that they were, like, overweight?
Because that's what sells, dude.
Okay. Were they taking them to, like, the pig community because they were going to eat humans?
See, that's they didn't really go into it like that, and if they really wanted to get weird, they could have, and they did.
That's a little weird.
Also, there's a guy in there on Jason's crew. Oksana, can you scroll down to the cast here? Because I'm not going to be able to pull his name, but he plays Moggy in the movie, and he's got the coolest voice ever. Scroll down a little bit. It doesn't pop up. Oh, well. Anyway. He was in the Nicholas Refn television series.
Cool.
Scroll down a little bit.
I'm still confused. I feel like this.
Oh, yeah. Babs.
Oh, yeah.
Olus Mukun. He's tight.
Oh, I think you might. His name's Moggy.
Yeah, Moggy. Moggy's tight.
I
Dude,
like it.
He's great.
All right.
He's my new favorite actor.
So you watched a spiritual sequel to Bullets of Justice. That's cool.
No, wildly different. Wildly different.
I don't know. I think a truck's of fat people. I think of that movie. Do you remember why? You
I
look
understand.
okay, just making sure. All right, are you done?
Yes. 5 stars.
Really?
That's high.
Are you high?
No.
I thought you had a joint next to you.
My vape ran out, dude.
Oh my god. Vapor Boys with the Z? I bet that hashtag's blowing up.
Oh, Vapor Boys?
Yeah.
See you later, boys. Okay. Go.
All right, what the hell what did I watch? I
What do
keep forgetting.
You're an R Cube too, dude.
R Cube 2. Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a Randy retread. And again, I asked Randy what he watched before we started recording, and he was like, "Yeah, it was a recommendation." There is somebody on this show who will listen to recommendations and even watch them sometimes, and it hurt really bad, Randy. I'm not Clark. It's not a song and dance I'm doing up here. And when I forget that you talked about a movie, it kills me. Literally, I cut myself because of it. And I was like, I'm
I
gonna
don't.
I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna watch a movie that Randy covered, and it just so happened to be in your town too. And I was like,
saw
should we
that.
tell Randy? And oh, I guess it's not in your town. It was close.
Yeah.
It was on that side of the water.
I wasn't there anyway, so you lucked out.
Yeah, I knew that. That's why I didn't contact you.
Yeah, totally.
But we are supposed to do an East Bay hang with the Randolph.
Yeah, we got to. And we went out to the Shattuck. If you've been to the East Bay and had the pleasure of going to the theater in Berkeley, you'll know that they have zany rooms there. They have like an Egyptian room, and they have a room with stars on it. And they also have a really dumb COVID policy for sitting down, where there are only 2 seats next to each
I
other
like
available.
the Arabian one.
Yeah, that one is cool.
Yeah, that's cool as
What
fuck.
room were we in? I don't even know. But man, first off, theater looks beautiful. I walked in, and the dude, there were 2 people who were buying a ticket to, I think, A Quiet Place, and the dude was trying to talk him out of it because he's like, "You want to see a real horror movie? Go watch Censor." He's like, "That movie, A Quiet Place, just a lot of loud noises, man." And I was like, "Okay."
I mean,
I'm like, "Dude, A Quiet Place was pretty legit."
what was this guy 24 in a graduate program?
I mean, he had long hair. It looked like we'd probably be friends. Anybody who's opinionated, like, I'd get down, but I'm like, don't say that. Like, why are you pitting these 2 movies against each other?
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, I went in, and I had no idea what this movie was about because clearly I'd forgotten that Randy had covered it. And I know he watched it as a part of a Sundance, or was it Cannes?
I don't think he
It was
remembered.
Sundance.
Okay, and it was kind of confusing to me that it got in the programming. Just from the opening, it looks like it's going to be kind of like a low budget, kind of campy film. I mean, everything looks very polished. Like there's a real crew. It just looks like it didn't have a ton of money. And very stylish, a lot of low light going on. And
You want a cookie?
you get into no, thank you. I'm recording right now. I don't want to eat them. And
Remember, new format next week.
So the film takes place during the what a lot of the horror fans know as the video nasty era. And early 80s. We're in the UK, and this is when they were censoring a lot of low budget horror films. Now, to be clear, I know a lot of people really love to deep dive in here and like kind of like understand what was going on in the psychology of people and why we were doing this. And I'm more on the end where the only thing I cared about video nasties were seeing the films because they're banned, and it gave them that elevated, put them on a pedestal. Now I really don't know a lot about it, and I was confused at first because I'm like, who's this movie for? Is it for the people that are really into it, or the people that didn't know about it? And really, it's kind of just like, it's a platform for the film. It's a launch pad. And we're there with one of the censors who's actually like cutting up the movies. Now, in my mind, it kept reminding me of a movie called Evil Ed. If you've seen that movie, we should be friends. I mean, clearly you're listening to this podcast. And Evil Ed learned that he should not have cut the beaver rape scene in that movie. And that kept echoing in my head. Now, Evil Ed is also I'm in the, what do you call it when you're developing photos? Is that the red room?
Dark Room.
The dark room.
The red room is our friend in Canada.
Oh, slasher victim.
Yes, my friend.
Yeah, it felt wrong, but oddly right. So yeah, so it's got that dark room vibe, like everything's dark and we're working on something. Except, the films about people who go into this dark room and watch the most violent or like grotesque parts of movies and have to deem if they're acceptable to put out. It's kind of an impossible situation to be in. Also, these people have a lot of power, and their judgment seems like, what are the rules you're basing it on? We don't get a lot into that. Instead, this film's about our protagonist who has her own personal trauma. And when she's watching a movie, it gets stirred back up. And I thought that was so interesting. And it's a perfect Shudder movie. And what I mean by that is, I was talking to Clark about this earlier. If you had a gauge or a pendulum, and on one end is art house, and on the other end is just entertainment, I feel like I would have loved this movie if it had gone more in either direction. We're like right in the middle. It's a very stylish film. And there's a lot of like, in probably the second act, there's a kill that happens that is just like, wait, is that real? Like, did somebody just die that way? Because until this moment, we've done nothing like Winky. We've had no Winky whoops until that one moment. And it's so like, that can't be real. Like, this can't be happening. And you're like, oh, maybe they're leaning into that. Except, in a movie like Black Swan, or what's another movie where Videodrome is probably my favorite imperfect movie, where you're following along and then you get to a point to where you're like, it's muddy here. And there's no clear narrative. Like, it kind of feels like the filmmaker had fucked up narratively. And in this film, that never happens. You know exactly where we are. I should say they do a little bit of distorted reality with our protagonist after her trauma gets stirred up. Except it's never confusing. You always know where we are. You know what mental state she's in. And then visually, they kind of like take they make a choice towards the third act. And they really lean into the whole VHS element. And it's interesting. There's another podcast out here in the Bay Area called Scary Thoughts. They do like philosophy and horror. And they did an episode on Dungeon Synth. And I'm not going to try and set up Dungeon Synth. It's, electronic music that has like medieval themes. It harks back to a lot of like dungeon crawl video games and black metal. And they noted that a lot of the material would get put out on cassette tape, or there'd be like on purpose poor recordings in an attempt to hark back to like prior era. Like, this is old. Like, the fact that it came out on a tape means it's old or like forgotten or like we drudged it up. And this movie kind of did it too with the VHS tape. And it's weird because it's like, I don't know. I felt like it's the wrong era. Like, I don't think people really celebrated the VHS tape in its like era. Like, people weren't in love with that format. It was just the
It
only
was just
format.
the thing.
Yeah, so it kind of put me in a weird position as an audience member where I'm like, I feel like you're doing a signaling thing to the retro, like me. Like, I love collecting VHS tapes. And it's so clearly aimed at me that I kind of got like repulsed a little bit.
I get that.
But ultimately, hey man, it's a good film. Except when my review is, hey, it's a cool movie, I feel like, that's not really like, again, we're here. We're in like 3 territory for me. And it's, I don't know. Oksana watched it with me. What do you think? Let me turn up your mic. Am I like crazy here?
No, I mean I get what you're saying. I think I enjoyed it more than you did. I didn't feel like targeted by it or whatever.
Well, there's a lot of shit in here that it was like tangential for me that I feel like could be really important. Like, she's a female character watching horror, and there's a lot of like sibling stuff going on. I'm like, maybe there's like a gender narrative in here that is kind of like over my head. Or maybe the whole like video nasty era thing. Like, I don't know a lot about that. And I'm like, is this like an important moment? Or did somebody actually go crazy?
Yeah.
Because in the movie, they blame her. They blame her directly as an anonymous, like kind of like censor for passing a film that apparently inspired somebody to kill somebody like that. And it was like, oh, they cut somebody's face off and ate it. And they blame her for it. And I'm like, is this like a blaming women thing, or
I don't think it's a gender thing at all.
what'd you like about it?
Well, I like how a lot of the sets looked like horror sets. Like they were horror movies when it was just like her walking down like the subway or whatever.
It's a good point.
And like a lot of the lighting really like multicolored or technicolor looking.
Damn. Yeah, you're right. Her real life did look more of like a horror movie. And then as we move through the film, yeah, that kind of distorts into a, yeah, you know what?
I
You're
think
smarter
it's
than
getting
me.
raised to a 3.5.
Yeah, it's
right
probably a
now.
3.5.
Hey.
This is why I like her. Perspective. We never even talked about the film after watching it.
No, it didn't.
We came right home, started drinking, and watched Caveat, and then nobody talked because the movie's engaging.
And pick me up from the airport.
No, after this one we watched Tony.
Okay.
Wait-
It
way
doesn't
too
matter.
long.
I'm turning off your mic. Yeah, no, it was good. But I think I feel like Randy felt with Caveat, where I'm kind of like, man, I would have liked it to go more in either direction.
Randy, give us a reminder. What did you think of this
I remember liking it a lot. I do kind of forget what happens in the third act. I kind of forget how it all wraps up, but no, I really dug it. I think I gave it like a 3.5 or a 4 after seeing it.
one? Randy, you watch 300 movies a year. So.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, I haven't
And-
watched as many this year. Last year was like extra crazy just because, didn't go anywhere. So,
Yeah.
And there was like 80 film festivals that I attended online.
I was gonna mention also the theater we saw it in. We were like way super in the back, which we usually aren't, and it was like really quiet, which maybe
It was really quiet.
How many people
Huh.
were in there?
10, but it was
Mask
everything
on or off?
mostly. I don't know. The person directly next to us, the only one I could really see, had it on.
So
but
we were eating
everything
popcorn,
echoed.
and
People were making out with their mask on.
it was so quiet that even when the movie was kicking, you could hear chewing.
Mm.
And when it was quiet, I found myself like leaning forward physically trying to hear it better. So that might have played a part.
Yeah, I think rewatching this one with like higher volume or rewatching Caveat with like less natural light.
I just,
might help.
it's the fucking third act. There's a moment in this movie where she's a hardline censor, but her trauma's kind of addressed in the film. So she ends up sneaking into a video store trying to rent a movie that's below the counter because it's been banned by the government. And if we could have lived there, like just how a horror movie can be cathartic for people and like how the terrible elements could be like, and again, I hate these talking points because I feel like every fucking hack horror fan is like, oh, it's catharsis. And honestly, I want to see Post Malone get shot in the head. And it's not that I knew another guy that I'm like, oh, this is cathartic for me. No, it's gratuitous. I know that. But in this movie, I felt like they had a relevant point where this girl did not want to like horror movies, but she ended up needing them. And then the third act, we don't go there.
Post Malone, not a bad actor.
Not a bad musician. Randy got me with that Nirvana cover.
It's real good.
So, yeah, I don't know. You know what? Fuck, man. Talking through this movie, I think I like it more.
4.
No, 3.5.
All right. So now we're going to throw it to the portion of the show which we have not yet recorded, but we're going to be talking to our friend Kai here momentarily. God, when was the last time we brought Kai on? I feel like it was I don't think we talked to him during the Pandy.
The Pandy?
Yeah, it was pre-Pandy.
Oh, he's definitely
It's
pre-Pandy.
probably been like several years.
Oh my god. Kai's our
Kai.
friend.
I'm
Why have
trying
we
to
not
look it
brought
up.
him in the fold. But I believe he's got an event coming up at the Balboa Theater here shortly. I mean, we are getting back to the days of yesteryear. So, Super Shangri-La is coming back. So, Kai will be back on to talk about his ongoing program at the Balboa, which, of course, was on hiatus because of, depends on how you view it. Was it a bat? Was it a lab? I don't know. But
a bat or a
regardless,
dog?
Was it a bat from a lab? Is that something we could agree on? That
A
maybe
dog.
it was a bat, but the bat came from a lab?
Dude, it looks like Kai was on here March 8th, 2017.
Oh, no, we've had him on
I don't think so.
since then.
I don't know.
That may have been the first time we had him on. That's wild.
Yeah, I don't
Actually, no, we had it. Dude, first time he was on, he came on in the Disney Dungeon,
know. Yeah.
which had to have been the first 30 or 20 episodes.
Yeah, the Disney Dungeon. We used to record the show with our
And I
former
remember
third chair.
complimenting him on his fedora.
I also remember talking to Justin, our the old third host, and he was just like, "You have fucking strangers coming over my house." And I'll tell you, him and Kai are fucking butt buddies. They love each other now. So
Yeah, it didn't take much.
no, it didn't take
It
anything.
didn't take anything.
Yeah.
He mentioned like one like deep cut TV show from the 70s, and that's all it took.
Or he might have shown up with a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, in love."
Yeah, he showed up. Yeah, he talked about Tiki Bar, and then Coop pulled his pecker out. That's all it took.
Oh, damn.
His emotional pecker. Don't know what that means.
Okay, there we go.
Randy, do something with emotional pecker. Could that be the new side project?
Down.
All right. Anything else?
No, I'm excited for the new format.
Yep.
What did anybody keep track of time right now? Like, how long are we?
1:30.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I know it.
Yeah. Well, say goodbye to it.
Goodbye, horses. All right, here's Kai. Goodbye. Well, Kai, how you been, man?
In the grand scheme of things, I've been great.
Now,
I've been great.
yeah, that is true. Within all of our parameters.
Yeah, because like I haven't lost any family members. I had one uncle who passed from the plague, but he had it. He had just had crappy health anyways, and it took him like a year. But like in the grand scheme, like I work at a haunted hospital by myself. I have one security guard in the whole building, and I've been working there for a year and a half. Just like playing classical music and whatever I want to play as loud as I want, and it's just been amazing.
All right, let's circle back on this haunted hospital classical music situation. So what is going on?
So I'm the community and office coordinator for a giant nonprofit in the Presidio.
Okay.
And they have the 50-year lease on the old Letterman Hospital, which is this giant hospital complex. It has a whole bunch of nonprofits, like 40-something nonprofits in it, with probably a skeleton crew of like one person that comes in once a week for each office. I don't see them because I stay in the main hospital wing, which is like 3 huge wings. That's like 4 wings, actually. It looks like a trident. And anyway, so it's just me and the security guard, and there's one other employee who hangs out in the farthest wing from me. And I see her maybe once a day. So other than that, it's just me blasting, Credence and whatever I want to play all day long. And I have zero human interaction. It's so cool. I mean, I like people, and obviously when the world reopens, like I'll be hosting like art shows and stuff there. But for the past year and a half, it's been nice and relaxing. So
That's the best of both worlds right there, because you're technically out in the world, but yet you're still alone. That's a win on both ends, man. I'm jealous of that.
it's great. I remember one time, this goes back 10, 11 years ago when I had a haunted house in Los Angeles. And I said, well, I got to go find out, the proof is in the pudding. So I went, after the medium gave us the name of the guy, I went downtown to go look in all the county clerk's records office and stuff like that to find out where this guy, if he really was, owned the house or, lived there in the 40s. And so I took this elevator. It was almost like, it was like right out of like a MIB or a Twilight Zone, where you take this elevator and it goes down 4 floors underneath, like you are underneath everything in Los Angeles. And the doors open and there was this giant, looked like an underground library warehouse full of humongous books that were like 4 feet by 2 feet. And these 2 guys working there only listening to AM radio because that's the only reception they could get down there.
Sounds
And yeah, and they were just had these giant books, and they were just as happy as clams, not having to deal with humanity at all. It was really cool. And that's my life for the past year.
Did you do any paranormal research in the hospital?
Oh, my hospital. So the ghosts don't come out till the nighttime, or early morning. There is a 3rd floor that has a ghost that the janitorial staff actually quits because of. But I'm not around that late at night. And in the basement, there's a ghost that talks to people when they're in the records room. But I never go down to the records room. So like where I am, there's no ghosts.
There's no lunchtime ghost.
No lunchtime ghosts.
That's a
I mean,
bummer.
yeah. I mean, there are like my old office when 7 years ago, I was in the same building, and there was a room that like one time an old like Korean War vet shuffled in with his wife, and he looked at me and he goes, I used to do, perform surgeries in that room. One time late at night, I performed a surgery and an apparition was watching me from behind right there. And then he shuffled out. And I was like, wow.
An apparition.
Yeah. And then I went to, I think it was actually in San Bruno. Where's the pancake house? The Millbrae Pancake
It's Millbrae.
House? So in Millbrae, there's also like a library, and for some reason, there's like some ghost hunter that likes to do once or twice a year ghost hunting talks and lectures at that
We
library.
interviewed him on this very show.
Oh, you did? Oh,
We
yeah,
did.
yeah. So I went to one of his lectures, and he was. We already talked about this, and he was just like, it'd be really great if I could go into the Letterman Hospital in the Presidio because of all the ghosts there. And afterwards, I'm like, hey, dude, like I work there, and there's no one there, at any time. This is before the pandemic, but I'm like, if you ever want to do it. And then so after the plague hit, I was just like, there is nobody here. So if you want to come out here, like this is prime time. You can, goof around with all your ecto gadgets you want, But he never reached back to me, which was really weird.
Oh, Jim?
I think so.
Yeah, Jim. What?
He wrote the books that has like the bridge, Maybe the Bay or the Golden Gate Bridge on the front.
I don't know if Jim wrote any books. Now, you're right. We did talk to a Jim, but he had like empty nest syndrome going on where his kids just moved out and he bought a bunch of video equipment.
Yeah, he'd sold a business and he's like, I've got a bunch of money, so I just need something to do.
Oh yeah, no, this guy's probably a virgin and he's probably in his 50s.
Well, we haven't rolled him out yet,
but we probably know him anyway.
That's the ghost. Yeah, I'm about to catch I think this is a wolf spider. There's a giant ass spider, and I wish we were on live video so you guys could see this thing. This is a whop. This mother.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Last night I was cooking a very good French toast. By the way, if you want to make good French toast, get brioche hot dog buns. You're welcome. Anyway, I saw a giant spider in the kitchen. He was on the backsplash going towards the spatulas, and I couldn't smash him, so I just let him go his way.
Wait,
so
why couldn't you?
It was a weird angle, and it was just the way that it just wasn't going to happen.
Do you need a stool?
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I set myself up.
Dude, we were watching a movie. I can't even remember what it was. The last movie we watched together down in the theater room. And there's a spider walking on the wall. And it distracted me for like 10 minutes. And it walked into one of my DVD box sets. And
we live in Spider Town, dude.
Yeah, Kai, they're everywhere. Like different kinds. Ugh.
Hate them. All right. Now, Kai, we have a very important question before we get to, your show coming back, which we are all super excited about. The first thing we want to know is now, yes, we are fully aware. And this is one of the reasons why we love you, Kai, is that, you don't really pay attention to the new things coming out. But we did have Godzilla versus Kong. So did you see it?
I didn't see it. I did watch I think a YouTube of Mecha Godzilla to see how he was.
There we go.
I mean, are we rolling right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
we're going.
Well, luckily you can't see my hair, but okay, good. I did not see it, which is really weird. It was like the first Godzilla movie I have not seen ever, I think. I don't know. I have such mixed feelings. Even the last one that was in Japan, which was just like all meeting, talkie, I was like not into that one either.
Dang. And to be fair, we would have placed a bet on you not seeing the new movie.
Oh, really?
But, yeah, we had to. I don't know. You don't strike me as the type to like run out there and go watch Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No, because you know what? The axe look just like the axe from like the Thor Ragnarok, and I'm just like, like in the Mecha Godzilla, that's great, but I was just like, I don't know.
He does look cool though.
He does look cool.
He looks pretty cool.
Was there a Mothra cameo?
No.
Yeah. They didn't have Rodan, or they didn't have. I mean, I do. I like Anguilla. I mean, I don't know if I told you guys. This is like Dork 5000, but like I have like a huge tattoo of Godzilla fighting Megalon on my arm. Like I'm into it, but I don't know what they're doing now. It's just like so much CGI. It's like it's pouring out of my ears.
Well, they're paying for their third house in the Hamptons. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Just so much. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, that's pretty much the reaction I wanted out of you.
Yeah, I was looking more forward to seeing a Quiet Place too, which was as hallmarkish as it gets, but it was relaxing and enjoyable.
Oh, where'd you watch it?
I watched it at the Balboa. It was like me and a whole bunch of teenagers. It's like
Rad.
I was like, this is like the first time ever. I'm like, let's see if this super serum they gave us really works, because none of these teenagers, they could give a rip, and they didn't get their their cootie shots and stuff like that. But yeah, no, and that was okay, I guess. It was PG-13, so
That's rad. I didn't realize the Balboa was playing it. I think we went and watched it over at Tan Fran.
yeah, the Balboa just recently reopened, and the Vogue opened. I mean, the world's just reopening now, so it's super nice.
Now, is the Balboa now? Today we had the announcement where we're fully reopened now, and
They pulled that back already.
I had also
Like
heard that.
hours into it, they moved it 2 days
So
further.
here's what happened. I went to Trader Joe's this afternoon,
Oh
and
yeah,
everyone was wearing a mask except for 2 people.
Uh-huh.
And I had my mask. 'cause
Rebels.
I was like, man, I thought we did it.
oh, so Clark, I went to Trader Joe's on my lunch break today too. And
Yeah.
it was the same thing, and the only people who weren't wearing masks were like these like vain-looking 60-year-old ladies who've been waiting. They're probably on the prowl, these old cougars. And they were waiting. They could not wait. They got dolled up to go shopping, and they had their masks off, and they were prancing around like they were the ones who probably sent back food at restaurants. You know what I mean? They didn't care about anyone. They were just there for whatever. But
hey, if they were, truly vaxxed, they got the word that they were good to go. So, go to Trader Joe's, get your salad in a plastic bag.
yeah, it's we guess we got to get used to it, right?
It is weird. I went outside not having a mask on, and it just felt weird. It felt, I mean, I don't know. I think eventually we'll get right back into it, but it is still weird.
Now, where I'm at, I've been working through this whole thing out, like driving around San Francisco and doing like labor
Yeah.
in a mask. I am ready to fucking mutiny. I am so tired of wearing that shit.
I get that.
Like I get fucking angry today, and now that it's hot, I'm like standing there looking around. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers are vaxxed in here, and our government, like the country's open, but California, we're gonna stick it out longer. And I'm like sweating through the fucking. I'm ready to flip my damn computer at work. And yeah, so I'm on the other end of this thing. I'm ready to come hang out and hug people at your show, Kai. So get ready.
You can hug me. I do kind of miss when remember when it first started? Well, remember when it first started and it was cool because you could wear like handkerchiefs and you felt like a train robber. And then everyone, and let's face it, everybody in the whole US thought people are going to turn into zombies. And then there was like this secret, like, like all of a sudden you're going to wake up and you're going to see some dead dude like straggling down the street at you, like that's when it was sort of cool. And then we have to wear these lame masks and lame shit. But anyways, yeah, huggies.
I wish we would have turned into zombies, because I think we would have solved that shit quicker.
I think you did turn into a zombie. You were home all day.
I've always been a zombie. What do you mean turned into one? I came out the womb a zombie, baby. All right, Kai. So it's time. You're bringing back the show. You coming
Bring it
back
back.
to a theater? How excited are we?
I'm pretty excited. Honestly, I was just like, I'm gonna show like the first 2 months, just like a couple soft turkeys, just in case, they turn out slow and
Soft turkeys.
yeah. So well, only on this show will I announce what I'm secretly gonna show next week. Dun 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 dun. So I am gonna show the Treasure of the Four Crowns from '83, right? But
Yes.
before it, dun 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 dun, I'm gonna show the 90-minute short that has Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, which is called Cleveland Smith Bounty Hunter. Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
It's a 9-minute. It's on. It's well. I don't even want to say where you can find it, but you can find it. You can find everything on the computer. But anyways, it's a 9-minute Super 8 short, and it's very reminiscent of some of the jokes in Army of Darkness. But anyways, yeah, 1982, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell,
Oh,
and
wow.
it is a Raiders of the Lost Ark ripoff, much like the Treasure of the Four Crowns. Which have you guys seen Treasure of the Four Crowns?
I have not.
No.
Okay, I mean, it is an amazing piece of work. I think it's Italian, filmed in Spain in a castle. This treasure hunter guy, he has to get the super team to go to break into this castle that's run by a cult, and the cult leader, I think he's from Hoboken, New Jersey,
Hell
and
yeah.
and it's like these dudes got like someone got a 3D camera, and they're just like, let's go bananas. So there's like a 3D scene like every 3 or 4 minutes. It's crazy. And because obviously we're running this on a glorious DVD player. There's no 3D. So we're gonna have I'm just gonna have a drinking game that every time there's a 3D scene, you have to take a chug, and it's probably like a 2 or 3 beer movie because of all the 3D scenes. It'll be great.
Kai, I am so happy. I was gonna ask you about like drinking, and I'm like, do you think people are gonna be weird, like coming out to a theater, hanging out and drinking? Because it's the only thing I want to do, and
Oh
you've made
yeah.
me so happy with. You got a game lined up and everything.
When
I'm
are
so
people going to
pumped.
get weird about drinking? That's the
Yeah.
escape,
Probably
man.
never, but I mean, I just imagine that that I don't know. So the Balboa, it's a neighborhood theater, and for
Yeah.
some reason, I just imagine that people have become so tribal during this lockdown that like when a neighborhood theater gets invaded, people are going to be like walled up and on defense. But I don't know. The Balboa's been operating, right? They've had like outdoor popcorn service.
You can walk in and buy a beer and walk out and drink it on the street on Balboa Street right now. They don't. That's like totally thumbs up by the city. So
Whoa.
Yeah.
you can open container like you're on like Bourbon Street in New Orleans. It's the whole pandemic they've been doing that. So it's like it's pretty cool. People come in, they say like, hey, I want to buy a beer because they got some pretty fancy pants beers at the Balboa, and then you just walk out, gluggity
See,
glug.
the only
Kai,
person.
if you would have seen Russell's eyes light up.
Well, I just listened to a podcast where somebody was talking about how in France they have like wine carts, like a hot dog cart.
Yeah.
But you get wine and you can drink it out there, and it's nobody even thinks twice about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, we make it such a thing by outlining it. Like, there's that extra, and I just felt that so much. I'm like, dude, it's hot right now, hanging out in front of the Balboa, like drinking a beer outside.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
I don't
nice.
perfect. And the only problem was I was talking to people about the Balboa who didn't drink. So they failed to mention that. They're like, oh yeah, come down and buy some popcorn. And I'm like, that's a little out of the way for
Well, hey, it only took a global pandemic
I know.
Yeah,
for this to happen.
and they got corn dogs now too. So the world's getting better.
They got corn dogs, dude?
Corn dogs, yeah. You could even throw the corn dog in your popcorn so you can have a surprise.
Yes.
When you reach down there for the popcorn, you can grab the handle of the corn dog. Then it's corn dog time.
Or you put it in upside down and let somebody
Oh.
else reach in there.
And
And
they're
they'll get
like,
it.
and they're like, that's not. You put it in someone's lap, like that's not the corn dog.
No, Kai, when I saw that you were playing this movie, I've been going to your shows for so long. One, I actually thought it was a little too current, or I'm like, oh shit, we're doing like 83 here.
That's
And the other
pushing
thing,
it.
well, the
Yeah.
cover also, it looks so much like Indiana Jones. I'm like, it's got to be like a bait and switch. And I'm going through IMDb looking at the photos. And the minute I came onto the cult leader, I'm like, okay, this is clearly like a hidden gem that Kai knows about. Because this
Oh
dude,
yeah.
this bearded guy in a red robe with a Triforce on his head, like that's straight up super
Looks a little
Shangri-La.
Sean Connery-ish.
He does. Yeah, he does look a little Sean Connery-ish. The movie is like nonstop. It is nonstop action. It is action packed, guaranteed. Um, yeah. Oh man, it's good. Since we're on the show, do you guys want me to tell you some of the other secret shows I got lined up?
Oh, please.
Please.
Secretly, only listeners of the Overlook Hour podcast will know about these shows coming up. Well, actually, there's already one in July. I got the William Shatner double feature.
Oh boy.
That one has Impulse from '74, and it's William Shatner, and he's this gigolo that goes around killing kind of like older gals for their dough. But and he's kind of a nervous wreck, right? And then the I don't want to give it away, but there is his arch enemy in the movie. Well, he's got two. One of them's like this 9-year-old little girl who's figured him out, and the other one is his old crime partner who has to fight him. And his crime partner is Harold Sakata, who most people know as Oddjob from Goldfinger.
Oh
And,
boy.
yeah, and he drives around in this Winnebago with this big sign that's saying Karate Pete. And so there's this fight scene with William Shatner versus Oddjob in a car wash at like midnight when it's running. It's so good.
What is that movie called?
It's called Impulse.
All right. And then what's
And
the other?
the other one is The Horror at 37,000 Feet from '73. And that's
Excuse me,
where
the horror?
the horror, yeah.
Oh, the
H-O-
horror.
The
Okay,
the horror.
The Hua.
Yeah, not the 1 Mile Club. This is like he's or the 37,000 Feet Club, I should
There
say.
you go.
But it's that's got a crazy cast. It's got the professor from Gilligan as a pilot. William Shatner plays a kind of a doubting alcoholic priest, and it's got the gal from Amok Time from Star Trek, who no, not Amok Time. Maybe she was that too, but she was the what is it? The Tears of oh my gosh,
Of a Clown.
Elon of Troyes. Anyway, she's in Star Trek, but anyways, it's William Shatner versus a I think it's a pagan druid temple that has some demons trying to cut loose and get out on the plane. Because yeah, I don't want to tell you anymore. But
Now-
anyways,
This is interesting because when we think of early William Shatner, we think of the Twilight Zone of him freaking out on a plane. So
oh yeah,
he went through a plane phase. Oh boy.
yeah.
A plane phase.
Was that was Nightmare at 20,000 feet or
Yeah.
40,000?
No, we get the horror.
This is the horror at 37,000 feet. Yeah, straight up. And this one was made for TV as well.
Typecast.
Yeah, and then in August I've got The Dark Intruder from 1965 with Leslie Nielsen,
Oh
and
boy.
and it's Leslie Nielsen versus this psychotic monster killer during the Barbary Coast time of San Francisco, like in the 1860s or 1870s. That it's really good, and Leslie Nielsen he's like, this is like right before or right after Forbidden Planet,
Yeah.
so he's still like a young looking strapping dude, but they let him cut loose, and he has all these really funny, weird, like one-liner jokes that are, like how he does it. You know what I mean? So I
Pretty
wanted
good.
I wanted to have in October or November. I wanted to have a robot double feature, a robot versus robot double feature. One of the episodes is a Lost in Space episode called War of the Robots, and the Robinson family gets down to this planet, and they find a Robbie the robot, right? And Robbie the robot, he's all like dusty and cobwebby, and they bring him back to life, and he's totally evil. and he's like this goody two shoes in front of the family, but he's like a total jerk. And it's pretty much like a whole episode of robot yo mama jokes with Robbie the Robot ripping on the Swiss Family Robinson robot. It's so good.
Love it.
It's so good. Yeah,
A
it's so
robot
good.
roast battle?
It is a roast battle, and you'll laugh out loud watching it. It's really funny.
When is this? October, you
That'll
said?
that'll probably be in October. I think August I got Dark Intruder, and then with Dark Intruder I got Night Strangler with Kolchak.
Yeah.
So that's the second. The first one was the Night Stalker, and the second was Night Strangler. But the Night Strangler kind of ties into Dark Intruder with the old Barbary Coast sort of feel. And then September I've got a Rasputin double feature, and that'll be good because I'm gonna have Rasputin will be there live in person, and I'll probably be giving away free beards for that one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
God, Kai, I'm so happy you're back. And hearing these lineups, like all the movies you name are like they're fringe for me, like right on my radar. Like I've seen them, but I can't imagine an opportunity where they come up where people come over and be like, hey, let's watch Dark Intruder. And it's so easy for me to get people out to the Balboa to come hang out at your show.
Yay.
So yeah, I'm building a crew for next week. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one next week, especially if people are drinking with the 3D. Oh man.
Now, Kai, here's the last big question here.
Yeah.
Will the gong be making an appearance?
Yeah, I gotta dig out the gong, and I gotta find some glorious prizes. So yeah, I can't go anywhere without the gong.
Now, do you polish the gong? Is that something that happens?
Oh no.
What's the upkeep? What's the upkeep on a gong?
It usually hangs out just in my closet. I may crack it out for something special. I belong to I'm like spilling it on over the I belong to a secret historical group, and I may have to bring it out for a secret ceremony next week. I just gave that away, but I don't think anyone.
I didn't know Bohemian Grove was this time of year.
Yeah. Oh, that is. I would like to. I want to check out that owl at some day of my life.
Moloch?
No, not Moloch, but the owl in the Bohemian Club.
Yeah,
up there.
Oh, I thought that was supposed to be Moloch.
No, it's like a giant statue of an owl. I think it's been there since the 30s or 40s.
Yeah. No, every time I've ever heard anybody like report on Bohemian Grove, they always said it was the worship of Moloch with that statue. So I just assumed
Moloch.
if it were some other deity, I'd be much happier.
Let's see. I don't even. What did Moloch? Moloch is the.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
I haven't been touched up on like anything interesting
Moloch,
during the lockdown.
Moloch sounds like a liberal
yeah,
arts professor I had.
Yeah, Moloch. There he is. Dun 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 dun. Oh
find
yeah,
it?
that's where you feed the babies in there.
See, he found it.
The baby oven.
You put the babies in the owl?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a Moloch thing. It's an owl. Look up Bohemian Grove owl.
I'm gonna tell you right now, owls are savages, dude.
Yeah, right. Hootie and the Blowfish. Hootie. Yeah, give a hoot or die. Let's see here. Oh yeah, look at the owl. Owl now, brown cow.
Dude, Bohemian Grove's a trip. Did you ever see that old Alex Jones video where he claimed to like infiltrate?
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, like I watched it as a kind of like a found footage experiment because he claimed that, he had a camera rolling, and I've watched it and it looks unimpressive like a real found footage film would be. And he has video of the ceremony like at night. It's interesting. I'd be curious to see what you thought of it, Kai. I'm sure you probably can't find it anywhere now because he's been banned on everything. But you used to be able to just pull it up on YouTube. Dang.
Who is it?
Alex Jones.
Oh, Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Russell, I'm sending you a text of a picture of this dude who looks insane. I don't know if you have your magic phone nearby, but this has to do with the Bohemian Club. And this guy looks sort of like this called the Parliament of Owls. And this dude looks like he's straight out of like Avengers villain Red Skull guy. He's got the greatest belt buckle I ever seen. He's got a crossbow. Oh my god.
He's got a sick belt buckle.
The Parliament of Owls? That's a hella
Uh-huh.
cool name.
Yeah, and the guys,
Whoa.
yeah, and look at his name tag on his jumper says Phantom Patriot.
Hold on, I'm gonna download it and send it to the computer.
All right,
so I can
good.
show
I want
you.
to see this sick belt buckle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he looks like a G.I. Joe villain or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's fucking cool.
Have you guys ever heard of? Well, we're talking about crazy looking people. The Man from Mars. Have you guys ever heard from the Man from Mars who was the grocery store robber?
Elon Musk?
I think he's like
Oh,
Sam
dude,
Elliott.
that is an awesome belt buckle.
Isn't that guy's got it down?
It kind of looks like an upside down penis. You got the two balls and then the dinghy.
Yeah. You think you had it going the other way, right?
I know. Yeah, he's like,
If he turns it the other way, he can put it in the popcorn.
no, that just means he's down to, you know what I mean? He's down.
Okay, Clark.
He looks like he's getting ready for the purge, to be honest with you.
Okay,
Oh.
one last one. You guys look up San Gabriel, California, Man from Mars. This guy could have been a supervillain in real life, but he blew it,
Whoa.
right?
Yeah. This dude's a trip.
He's got a great story. He didn't go out so good. He went out with a bang. Dun-dun-dun, cha. But it wasn't as good as he should have gone down like cooler. But an interesting character. And you can still go see his outfit that he wore. It's still at the sheriff's office in San Gabriel. I haven't seen it yet, but it's on Santa's list.
Wait, so he had a gun mounted on a car?
No. Oh, the Man from Mars? No, he just went and he just robbed grocery stores.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I would
Yeah, but
let him take whatever.
Dressed like that?
dressed like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a bit of an overkill. For some baked beans.
Yeah, and then afterwards he would go back to Oklahoma where he lived, and then he'd say come back out to this, whatever, LA Valley, rob again, and then go back to Oklahoma. But he always dressed up like that. He was probably hoping that he'd become a Hollywood, super villain. I don't know, but his outfit's great. If you like his full outfit, he just did a good job.
Yeah, he'd be an influencer for sure nowadays.
Why hasn't Guy Ritchie done a movie of this?
He actually
Right?
he kind of gives me a Zodiac killer vibe.
Oh, totally.
Like, I'm not sure why. Like, there's something about his costume that looks cartoony.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
Like a little too far. But then, you hold a gun like that and it instantly becomes serious again.
Yeah.
Kai, you know all the coolest shit.
It kind of does he have like a suppressor on a shotgun?
What's
Oh.
What's a suppressor?
A silencer.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it looks weird, huh?
Yeah.
You got me.
Right?
I don't know.
Oh, you're
enough.
right. Yeah,
That's
I don't know. If you look up pictures of him, there's some other pictures of him on Computerland. He looks like a straight up like a G.I. Joe villain. Or he looks like between a G.I. Joe villain and almost like the TIE fighter. Remember the TIE fighter pilots?
Yeah. Yep, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
man.
that's where they all
San
get.
Gabriel.
San Gabriel.
Well, Kai, yeah, man, we're super excited. The Super Shangri-La Show starts back next week on June 23rd at 7:30 p.m.
7:30. Getting dirty at 7:30. And then here on out for people who got to wake up early in the morning the next day like I do, I'll probably start showing my double features at 7:00. So that way
My
people
man.
they can power through it. And then, I don't know if you guys, I can wake up at 5:30 for work. I have to like digest like 3 cups of coffee before my brain is ticking.
Now,
So,
now in the post-COVID San Francisco world, where we've lost 100,000 people in California. Do you think we can take any more of a hit to like our artist community or like kind of like the poor culture that would really allow independent theaters to thrive out here?
What you mean? What else? I mean, like when the
Like, do you
mothership
think we're gonna have a
lands.
good turnout? I'm worried that our culture might have left during the lockdown.
I'll be honest. I have 22 pre-sales for that movie next week. Sometimes I don't even get 20 people to my movie, so I think people are looking forward to going out and being out again.
I
Good.
think you need to have more faith in humanity, Russell Fisher.
Yeah.
I'm constantly glass half full. I like to.
What? I'm sorry. Have we met?
Yeah.
Not true.
No, I don't know. I'm hopeful. I mean, I'm planning to try and do more event stuff coming up. And I mean, I wouldn't do it if I thought everybody was gone. I'm actually hoping that the rent dip and everybody leaving will kind of open it back up and let people buy up these techie homes that are now vacant.
Did you guys get a rent disco? Or I mean, did
Fuck
rent?
no. I mean, we
No.
probably should have lobbied for one because we're paying.
There wasn't
so
much
money.
negotiation that happened.
Yeah. Actually, Clark got a letter from the city telling him to stop smoking.
Oh, I didn't get a letter. I got a visit from Paul Blart telling me.
Oh, that's right.
Really?
Apparently, there's a smoking ordinance in the city of San Bruno. And if you live in an apartment complex or a townhome, you can't smoke.
Huh? Probably because of all the gas fireballs.
I know, right? PG&E's not going to fix it, so I can't have my, after work smoke.
Yeah. You have to go smoke in your car.
Smoking in the boys' room?
No, I
right?
think he literally walks like down the hill across the street.
What?
Yeah, because you have to be 20 feet away from like an open door or some shit.
Thankfully, people dump their furniture there, so you always
I
got
know.
a couch or something to sit
But
on.
then it's next to a water station, and like, don't stay away 25 feet. No smoking within 25 feet. I can't smoke anywhere. San Bruno sucks. It's full of
Either that-
spiders and fireballs.
Clark, you're going to either get a lot of exercise out of this or you're going to slow down your smoking and save a couple bucks on your packs. What do you smoke?
I already switched over to vape.
Yeah,
Oh, you did?
his ego just took a shot.
Yeah, it's marijuana only. I have never smoked a cigarette in my life.
Do they must have like some Darth Vapor kind of like vape thing?
Kai, you give them way too much credit. They are not nearly that creative.
Don't you think they should just have that? I was just bonking my head the other day because I let someone borrow my Darth Vader helmet, and I don't remember who I did. It was like one of those, sometimes you just forget, and the next thing you know, you're like, where the hell did that thing go?
It was probably Coot.
Yeah. Hey, can I borrow that? He's like wearing it right now.
He was wearing it during the whole lockdown.
Showing up to work in it.
His daughters have never even seen his face.
Kai,
Father.
the fact that you work at 5 a.m. and you're still out there putting on these shows, I love you to death, but I think the city needs you right now. And I'm so happy to call you a friend. And the fact that you've come on the show, I think he was one of our first 10 guests on here, right?
It was early on, man.
Like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
For the Bigfoot Bonanza, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was 5 years ago or 6.
Oh God.
Don't say
5.
that.
Yeah, I think it was 5 because this would be, if last year was a wash, this would have been my 6th year of the Super Shangri-La Show. I'm just technically saying it was 5 because I think I only got in 1 or 2 movies last year. Well, I guess I could say it was 6, but whatever.
I would. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, Kai, you're very important. And I would, you coming back, it feels like this thing's over now. And I'm glad I'm going to get to drink with you again.
Yeah, we'll drink. We'll even share beers. Let's totally test this serum out, right? We'll put it we'll share a bubble. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah. I won't be showing astronaut movies, so everyone, I don't know. It's gonna be really weird. I wonder how people are gonna be. Actually, it'll be interesting when we all go to the theater. See if people some people are going to be skitterish and they'll probably like walk back 1 foot, when you walk 1 foot towards them, kind of like doing a dance.
And then Russell will smother them with a hug.
I
Yeah.
promise you, I warn everybody. And I tell them usually before we go anywhere, I'm like, if we go to this mall to watch this movie, I'm going to hug you. Like, here is your warning. If you don't want it, don't show up.
Here, I don't want it.
I've only one person I didn't, and it's a former guest on the show. I'll leave him anonymous, but ran into him at Amoeba, and I was like, I warned you. And he was like, it walked around into another aisle. I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm not that aggressive, but I'm gonna push people.
Yeah, you're pretty aggressive.
That's right.
You are not getting off the hook though, Kai.
No, that's fine. Huggies.
I love you. Thank you for staying up late and talking with us.
You guys, I have fun. I look forward to chugging some beers and watching some movies with you guys next week.
Let's do it, man. We'll see you next week, babe.
All right, you guys. Signing off from Alameda. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, in a week.
In a week. Give it a week. You'll get rid of the rash.